this doesn't feel – the vibe here isn't what it was last year in New Orleans or even in previous years when we've been in Vegas and, even going back to Atlanta. The vibe isn't as strong here. I don't know if you feel that way too.
I do feel that way, and I think it has to do with the teams. I also think it has to do a little bit with the city. It's very spread out. San Francisco is a very spread out, big city. There's
all the teams are an hour away in Santa Clara.
Right. The stadium being so far away is definitely a challenge that has become something that you get the stadium, an hour away. It kind of was similar to when we were in Minnesota and everything was at the Mall of America. True. And then the stadium was so far downtown that you basically couldn't see the stadium or anything. All right, Josh, we want to get into a couple things here because there's a lot of reporting this morning when we woke up regarding Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson. Mm-hmm. Jeff McClain talked about it on his podcast, Josh. So give us some insight on some of the audio that you have for us to start the show.
Yeah, so really quick, and I want to preface this by saying that, the the mirrors on your car that says objects are closer than they appear?
Yes.
Well, the reporting about this has been exaggerated more than it really appears. Let's set it up here. So Jeff McClain opened a segment of his podcast because he obviously was reviewing all of the Jeff Stoutland stuff on the Uncovering the Birds pod, and he explained the fact that there is no guarantee that Lane Johnson is returning next season.
Now, in terms of Lane and his future, here's what I can say. He's definitely not sure if he's coming back or not. Is the impression that I get. And you would think that maybe this would make it a little less likely. Does he want to have to, kind of not start all over? I mean, with Lane Johnson, just kind of put him out there on the island. It doesn't, I don't think that's a huge thing. And I think he may kind of embrace the changes that are going to be made in terms of the run blocking.
So it broke up a little bit in the beginning there, but did he say he didn't think he was coming back?
He wasn't sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah, let me just add to that. I'm looking for it right now, but I saw that around Radio Row here, Baldy was talking to somebody, and it made it sound like he had spoken to Lane Johnson. And Lane basically made it sound like through what Baldy was relaying that he is going to give this staff a chance. I think it means he hasn't decided totally, but he's going to come back with the intention of seeing it through and playing another year and giving this staff a chance.
And that's Scott, really quick, and that's what McClain kind of led on to in the next part of the conversation, which he said that he thinks there is a specific way that Lane does return next year.
It could take the Eagles. It could take the Eagles basically, showing them how much he means to them for him to be back for another season. And, I think he's kind of earned that right.
So basically, guys, he's suggesting that, maybe the Eagles need to pony up a little extra money to make it feel good.
I was going to say, they've kicked the can down the road on his contract how many different times? And he's now saying, hey, I've kicked the can down the road on my contract so many different times. How about helping me out?
Right. Yeah. So then,
guess what?
Yeah,
he has every right to do it, and they're in a predicament now that they might need to.
They need
because if this Landon Dickerson stuff is accurate, that he is contemplating having to maybe shut it down, then you can't afford to lose both Landon Dickerson and Lane Johnson in the same offseason, right?
Well, it's funny you said that, Mike, because that's where the Dickerson thing comes in, because Jeff McClain continues talking about Lane Johnson, and at the very end of the conversation drops a little Nick's Nugget style type of nugget at the end here about Landon Dickerson.
And I know that, the injuries are a concern. I know he's working really hard to get that foot back to 100%. He's not stopping his rehab. He's not stopping all the crazy workouts that Lane does. So I keep leaning that he will be back for a last season. Landon Dickerson may be even more of a question mark to me.
Then the final 30 minutes of the podcast, they say nothing else about Dickerson. Following that is when the tweet came out from Mike Garafolo last night saying basically that he's heard similar things about Dickerson's future, maybe not being a certainty.
Oh, I thought you were playing a bite. I'm sorry.
Oh no, that was it. Literally, it was about like.
No, I thought you were saying Mike Garafolo said something, and that you were going to
no.
play what he said.
Garafolo put the tweet out last night, and now
he subtweeted it.
Right, and now the whole world has been conjecturizing since McLean dropped one little nugget. Garafolo retweeted it, and now here you guys are at Radio Row talking about it.
Well, listen, it's been buzzing this morning because, of course, when we get up early in the morning, that news comes over here at like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and everyone's saying, oh, my gosh, not only now Landon Dickerson news came out last night, the Lane Johnson stuff was added to it this morning when we woke up. I was talking to Greg Cosell when we got here, and he's like, I woke up this morning, Lane Johnson might retire.
Every morning it's something different here, which is crazy this year that's what we're dealing with. But we do see these guys. We're going to have Nakobe Dean later, and I know he's on the other side of the ball, but he sees what Lane, and that's, I think, something we need to ask him about. He's seen these guys and what they've been dealing with all season. He's been banged up himself at times. But I would agree with everything we heard and just kind of bat it around. I think it's the bigger question mark between the two guys is Landon Dickerson in my mind.
Well, Landon Dickerson would be doing it because he doesn't think his body can do it anymore.
Right.
I think Lane Johnson is more, do I want to deal with a new coordinator, a new offense, a new scheme?
New terminology. Yeah.
All of that. And the new scheme. Don't downplay that.
No Stout.
The run game is going to be different. No Stoutland. Does Lane Johnson, who's had basically, he got drafted with Chip Kelly in 2013. He has had Jeff Stoutland as the only offensive line coach he has ever played for. Does he want someone new coming in here and telling him, hey, use this technique, do that? I mean, how does that work?
And really quick,
I think it might be more likely that Lane, like Jeff McLean kind of said, is sort of on an island doing his own thing. Just do what you do and do it as well as you can. I'm going to worry about the rest of the line. But there's certainly, you got to link it all together. There's certainly some chemistry that needs to be there for sure.
And if I can interject really quick, that's part of the other reporting that's been around this week, which is the fact that, someone like Lane Johnson, maybe he's more amenable to the idea of, hey, you want to bring in a new guy, see better for this offense, fine. Whereas maybe someone like Jordan Mailata and some of the other guys might be a little less amenable to the changes.
I think that he's right. The fact that you have Lane Johnson, he's contemplating because does he want to go through all that? The one that you have to worry about is Landon Dickerson, of whether or not he thinks his body can handle this anymore. That's a big story. That's a big thing. What else is a big story? What else is a big thing? We're going to talk to Diana Rossini. That will be coming up at 3 o'clock today on the Sports Bash. Also, on the other side, Keyshawn Johnson comments on the A.J. Brown dynamic in Philadelphia as a guy who, throw me the damn ball, wide receiver, former number 1 overall pick, Super Bowl champion. Keyshawn Johnson will join us about that. Also, Nakobe Dean is coming up in 20 minutes from now, so stick around. Nakobe Dean, Keyshawn Johnson, Barry Sanders, Diana Rossini, Cooper DeJean, Reed Blankenship, Sal Palantonio, Kevin Harlan. It's a big show today on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill
And it just keeps getting better.
on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Radio Row, San Francisco. We continue on our coverage of Super Bowl 60. However, right now we are joined by the great Keyshawn Johnson. You actually used to hear him weekday morning, 6 to 10, right here on 97.3 ESPN. We missed you in the morning, man.
Well, that was many moons ago.
Wasn't that long ago.
I graduated.
Yeah. Tell everybody what you're doing now. You were waking us up every morning.
I'm chilling now. I went from ESPN to Fox, and then Fox made a decision to part ways with a bunch of us, and so now I'm a free agent.
I like it.
And free agency period started today.
Well, the free agent period started a little earlier than the Eagles wanted to. We want to get a wide receiver who was very, very, very good and very, very, very vocal at times. Keyshawn Johnson's opinion of what is happening in Philly, because it seems like a team that wins a division, coming off a Super Bowl, wins 11 games. I know that's not like, yes, but it's a successful season. Not in Philly. Yeah. A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, they fire their coordinator.
That's every year.
Right?
I mean,
they either win the Super Bowl.
Every year they get a new coordinator. It's a problem with the receiver in the quarterback, allegedly. They just got to look. You can't keep switching out coordinators. That's number one. You just can't keep doing it. Now they hired this young kid, which I don't know if that means Sirianni's going to call the plays or not. I have no idea.
They're saying that Sean Mannion will call the plays. No, Sirianni hasn't called the plays since his first year.
Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah. It's not like he forgot how to ride a bike.
Right. But, okay, so you're a wide receiver, very good one at that, by the way. If your head coach isn't calling the plays, do you have a problem with that? Or do you want the coordinator calling the plays? Or if you have a different call player every year?
Because the head coach isn't calling the plays, the head coach is involved in play calling, in play selection. Their offensive coordinator is not putting the game plan together without communicating with the offensive staff. Okay. So they're all in the room together.
So who's A.J. Brown annoyed with?
I think he's annoyed with the fact that they don't utilize him at the level that he thinks he deserves to be utilized at. So it's collectively all the way around. It's not Jalen Hurts. It's not Nick Sirianni. It's not the offensive line coach. I think it's the offensive staff. Because what happens at the receiver position is when you're looking at other receivers that are being productive in the National Football League and you know you can match that same productivity and you don't, it becomes frustrating. And so I think the frustrational side of things probably is what really boiled over for him in Philadelphia.
So we've seen this stat, and it's been going around Philadelphia because it's pretty egregious, but the amount of hitches they ran. From a receiver's perspective, they ran over 600 hitches this year, and it was dramatically more than – explain to everybody – how frustrating would that be as a receiver if you're told to go run a hitch every time?
No, it's part of the design of the play. When you run over 600 hitches, there's a hitch route on every single play. There's a hitch route.
Does Keyshawn Johnson want to run a hitch route every play?
Not every play, but it's part of the plays, right? So what happens is it may not be a traditional hitch, so to speak. It may be the running back flaring out to the right side at a 6-yard depth. That's still a hitch.
Okay.
So when you start looking at the analytics people, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Just trust me on that one. They have no idea.
I do trust you on that one.
600 hitches. It's not six. You're not running 600 hitches. I
can
can be honest with you about that.
So, but there should be, and I think maybe this is where fans in Philadelphia start to get frustrated.
It's not enough creativity.
So that's what I was going to say. Isn't it supposed to help set up maybe a hitch and go?
But that's only if a hitch and go is only when you have a defensive back who bites, who takes the cheese.
I gotcha.
Yeah, right. I mean, and that's only going to happen. Over the course of a season, you may get a guy that takes the cheese maybe 6 times in a year, maybe. And you have to call it at the right time because of film study and tendencies and all of those sort of things.
That's right.
Look, it's easy to sit and play quarterback sitting from a chair and a TV. It's easy to second-guess everything that somebody does. I'm telling you, as an ex-player that played at a very high level, in fact, slapped Philadelphia upside the head to go to the Super Bowl. But
damn it,
He's not wrong.
No retort there. No retort.
Well, people tend to lean toward what the people on television is saying. And the people, believe it or not, that are on TV calling the games, half the time don't know what the hell they're looking at. And so in your mind, they set a narrative, and the first thing he says, that was a slant. Well, it's not a slant. But they don't know what to call it. It just looks like a slant.
Right.
It might have been a dig route that he decided that rather than push up and shave it downhill, he ran it high so it looks like a post. And you get caught in between. And the reason I bring that up is because I look at the Chicago Bears game, and the first thing they say is Caleb Williams threw an interception. Yeah, Caleb Williams threw an interception because Caleb Williams is expecting DJ Moore to be in a certain spot, and when he went and pulled the trigger, DJ Moore let up, so therefore it looks like Caleb threw the pick.
Yeah.
But the people on television that give you that information.
Well,
Gotcha.
the interesting part about this, so the Eagles, obviously they win the Super Bowl one year. They've been very successful. The offense has been boring all 5 years going back to when Sirianni's here. So
I didn't think the year that they won the Super Bowl,
well,
the year that they lost, I didn't think
22,
that was boring.
they had a lot of
the
passes.
year that they lost, right?
to Mahomes the first time.
Yeah, that was
Right, that was
offense
Steichen,
was
and
explosive.
Steichen ended up getting hired, and then they brought Brian Johnson in, and then they had that 10-1 start,
Yeah.
and then they fell apart. Then they win the Super Bowl. But even that year, they had a game against Carolina, and they struggled, and the kid from Carolina dropped the touchdown pass. And then the next week, they play Pittsburgh, and Jalen Hurts says, is that what you all wanted to see? Because, like people were saying, this offense is not what we thought it should be.
Yeah.
It's been a 5-year rumble with the offense of
Looks like
being
you about 900 pounds, man.
But the offense just for 5 years doesn't seem like if you have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, this offensive line, you're almost like you should roll out of bed and score 28 points a game. Is that out of line to say?
If you don't have the creativity
There you
in
go.
the thought process of I got all these pieces, I need to figure out what to do with them. See, I feel like I can roll out of bed and take the same without anything, and you give me the call sheet, and I can call a better game than the Philadelphia Eagles call because I would know what to do.
Ocho Cinco came up to me yesterday. I never met the man in my life. I don't know him at all. He came up and gave me the biggest hug of all time, took the wind out of me, and said, I want to be the Eagles offensive coordinator. And I would think anybody with a football mind would look at their talent and say, I can do more.
But it's really not that complicated. It's really not. What happens is
Yeah, we all play Madden.
they make you believe and feel things are so complicated. It's really not.
Well,
The dude, free access, throw the ball out there to him. It's easy.
And you're right.
It's easy.
I think one of the things, the names of these plays are so overcomplicated. Like, why can't the play just be called, hey, it's 20? You know what 20 is.
It is. Some systems are that way. Like when I played under Parcells, simple.
Okay.
Ride 35 base. Everybody knows what to do.
Right.
Ride 35 base is a run play to the right.
Right. I got that.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Right.
We ran
Even
that
in
play
honesty. You know what your assignment is.
Right.
Toss 38 Gator. It's easy. It's a toss play. To the right, to the left. It's easy. It's not complicated. You know?
So let me ask you this, just with your ties to Tampa, I'm not sure if you're still, in tune with some of the staff there. The Eagles got Josh Grizzard as their passing game coordinator. Grizzard, sorry. What have you heard about him? And
I have no knowledge about what they do offensively with him at all. I mean, to me, that's a title.
Gotcha.
Pass game coordinator.
It's a title. I've had pass game coordinators in my life. They've done nothing.
Nothing. Well, so then oddly, Sean Mannion was the quarterback's coach, right? And now they're making him the play caller. And he's only been a coach for 2 years.
2 years.
That was the question I wanted to ask you. You're Jalen Hurts. You're the Super Bowl MVP.
But that's because they think he's smart.
But when you're a player, Super Bowl champion, as accomplished as
he's a quarterback, he's smart.
But you're as accomplished as Keyshawn Johnson, and they say, hey, Keyshawn, the new play caller's guy with 2 years coaching experience, never been a play caller.
You got to give him opportunity and a
Okay,
chance.
so you're willing to do that then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
That's good to hear, though.
He may turn out to be a one and done and be a head coach next year.
All right, so what you've seen and absorbed, Hurts, Brown, can they coexist again next year, or do they got to do something?
But it's not a Hurts and a Brown. It's a Philadelphia offense. It's
Well,
not Hurts and a Brown.
So they got rid of Patullo. He's now out, and they got a new guy. So does Brown say, I'll give the new guy a shot, or is this like, you know what, I'm done with this thing?
My prediction is he won't be there post-draft.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Prediction from the great Keyshawn Johnson.
Right? I mean, and if I'm A.J. Brown, maybe there's a new start.
And if
a lot of money to eat.
if AJ leaves, what
They
you
don't
see
care.
out of Devontae Smith, can he be a number one?
Well, he is essentially a one. Ones are different depending on what you consider a one, right? Did you ever consider Julian Edelman a one?
I hear you.
Right?
Yeah, out of the slot, he was just the man.
He was the one.
Yeah.
That's just so it's all predicated and dictated on what you look at and you say to him, okay, that's our one. We're going to get him the football all the time.
Oh, it's Keyshawn Johnson. What do you got to do the rest of your day?
Man, I got some meetings.
You're on West Coast time anyway,
He's a
right?
free agent, remember?
Meetings, and more meetings.
Yeah.
Well, he had meetings, but he stopped down to talk to us.
Yeah,
for
we
a little bit
appreciate
here.
you.
All right,
Keyshawn.
anytime.
I got Bump. You got that. Keyshawn Johnson.
I just want everybody to know in Philly still sucks.
Come on, man. Well, he did win the Super Bowl by beating Phil. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
That's Keyshawn Johnson, everybody. And he was kind enough to join us right here on the Sports Bash Live on Radio Row here on 97.3 ESPN. That conversation with the great Keyshawn. I'll tell you what, Keyshawn felt like he could have sat there and just kept going.
Yeah.
He loves talking about the position, the wide receivers and the coaching and all that stuff. And he got, to the point where he was like, I wish I could call the plays. You know?
So do you take away what I heard is that we all pay way too much attention to titles?
That was something that's very interesting. Like the pass game coordinator, he don't do anything. Like he's a nothing burger. So the Josh Grizzard being the pass game coordinator, that's interesting. But I'll tell you the one thing he also mentioned is, about the hitches and the this and the that. He goes, the people who are telling you that's a hitch, they don't even know what a hitch really is.
Of those 600-some hitches, how many were actually hitches?
Right. And he just said, look, I'm not going to sit here and try to BS you. They need more creativity in their offense. There's no denying that.
And we all knew that.
Yeah. Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. Call Mel for your holiday, it is a holiday, Super Bowl party. If you don't call Ernest & Sons, your party is just certainly not as good as it could be. My guy Rocco over at Key Acura of Atlantic City. If you need a new lease right now, February 28th, you have till then to figure it out. They got Acuras that they can get you in for a great price. And right up the road is the Nizam's Indian Restaurant. Stop in there, bring a big party, lunch buffet, the whole 9 yards. If you've never tried it before, you will go back over and over again. All right, we got more to go right here on Radio Row on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.
Listen to Super Bowl 60.
The Seahawks are going to Super Bowl 60. It's a rematch with the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara.
Sunday, February 8th, complete coverage of the big game is on Westwood One. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Graham. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Ryan Harris, and me for all the action right here.
Listen to Super Bowl 60 exclusively on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. It's the Sports Bash with Mike Gill
Keeping the fans entertained and happy.
on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The Sports Bash is live on 97.3 ESPN on Radio Road. Thanks to our friends at Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop, Key Acura of Atlantic City, and the Nizam's Indian Restaurant, Chilton Road in EHT. Mike Gill, Scott Grayson from Fox 29. And right now we are joined, I guess, Philadelphia Eagles free agent linebacker Nakobe Dean is with us right now. Nakobe, what's up, man?
What's up? What's up? Appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we have you live. We'd like to see you playing in this game.
Yeah.
But last year you were in this game. Did you notice or did you ever realize all the hustle and bustle that's going on while you guys are preparing for the game?
No, I never been to Radio Row, but I never knew it was like this. Never knew it was like this. It's been the last couple of days.
Now, you're a current player.
Mm-hmm.
You walk around, like, seeing guys, you're like, oh, that's Barry Sanders.
Yeah. I seen Barry. I seen Emmett Smith. I seen Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
I seen a lot of guys.
Now, you see Bo Jackson, that's like, whoa. I mean, Barry Sanders, we were here earlier. He was sitting right here. You know, Barry Sanders left his jacket here. And we grabbed it. And then his people came back to get the jacket. I said, I'll only trade it if Barry comes back over later. But you're right. Like, seeing these guys is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah. It's like you only see them on TV, and now it's like everybody here was able to take a picture with Bo and everything. So it's cool.
Could you imagine trying to tackle those guys?
I would have tackled them. Yeah, I don't care. They older. They'll talk all their shit, and I know all the older guys. I'm gonna talk my shit too. I would have tackled them.
Well, listen, it was an interesting year for you. Mm-hmm. You came back from that injury, tell us about that injury. I mean, that was a pretty nasty, gruesome injury that some people were worried about whether or not you were going to be able to come back. Were you worried?
I was not. I feel like, but I feel like I wasn't never worried, but it was like nobody. I feel like nobody outside of me and my close family and friends actually believed that I was going to come back the way I did. I always knew I was going to come back. I had all my faith and glory in God, and I always knew I was going to be more than okay.
Did you want to come back earlier?
I did. I felt like I could have came back week 3, but
Wow.
Now,
you're a free agent now.
Yeah.
They drafted a guy that played played pretty well.
Played good.
He played really well.
He's gonna be good.
But is he going to be here and you not, or do you want to be back, or you?
I want to play. I want to be here. I want to be with the Birds, but I know it's a business. I know. We got a great organization upstairs. I know how we're gonna do what's best for the team, and I'm gonna do what's best for me. I know it's a business. There's no bad blood anywhere with that. So whatever happens, I love the Eagles organization. I appreciate them for drafting me and taking a chance on me. So and I love Philly. I love that whole area. So Philly, South Jersey, all that, Delco, all that. Whatever happens.
I always loved watching how quickly everybody talks about the speed of the game, right? Mm-hmm. When you're a rookie, it seems to be moving so fast. How much did it slow down for you? And you love to – it seems like you're so smart you can figure out what's going to happen before the ball snaps,
right,
and you just go like a rocket towards that spot. How much did that happen? How much has that been happening more and more for you to make it maybe easier to play your position?
Yeah, it always kind of been like that for me, just because I know the way I watch film. I watch film the way I prepare myself for the game. So, and then you kind of it's a game of inches. You hesitate or you make a false step one way, then that lineman sealing you off. So it's all about beating them to the spot and just kind of exploding and making a play. But I feel like that happened right away for me. I mean, I know I didn't play my rookie year, then my second year. Felt like I was gonna be good, but I hurt my foot. And then it was time, the third year came, I had to fight for a starting spot, was able to get that. Then, unfortunately, my knee went. Now we're here. So I feel like my best football is ahead of me also, just because I got a full offseason to I'm not rehabbing.
Yeah.
I got a full offseason to actually hone in on my skills and work and get better.
The injury that you had, like some people had said, like your kneecap went up into your.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Jeez.
It was kind of weird. I don't know, like it was kind of weird how it happened, but yeah, my kneecap went up to my quad, and I pushed it back. I remember pushing it back in. I'm thinking it was dislocated
on the field.
Yeah, I pushed it back in, and I walked off the field. That's why nobody really thought it was serious. But then they told me what it was, and And then you kind of start seeing all the horror stories. It's the same thing I kind of went through with my foot. You see the horror stories of nobody coming back, the probability of ever coming back and even playing the way you played before was like 60, 70%, and it'll take you 18 months before you feel like you'll ever feel again. So you hear all them, and it's like, yeah, they don't know me.
You've been defying odds all along, so I'm not surprised you did it again. Listen, there's been so much news while we've been here on the other side of the ball, all the things happening offensively. We've been hearing a lot about Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson. You've seen those guys in the locker room. You obviously know them well. How banged up were they? I mean, especially Landon.
Yeah.
How banged up did you see him? How much did he really play through just to get through the season? And how real is this?
Yeah, Landon the Warrior. Landon the Warrior. You can. I mean, I don't have to say nothing that's inside that you can't see on the field. You kind of see him coming off the field, grimacing and everything. He kind of got banged up during training camp. He just he fought through that all season, and he was a warrior who was able to fight through that all season. So I hope they spending their off season now, spending it, getting their body right and getting it ready.
Well, and you've been here. And one of the reasons for the success has been the play of that offensive line. Were they unable physically to play at the same level? Cam, Lane, Landon, as a group.
I don't know. I wouldn't say they were unable. I don't know. I can't answer that. Just because you kind of see them some of the toughest guys on the field.
You're a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that Jeff Stoutland said, "See ya"?
I mean, I don't know what happened.
You ever talked to him before?
Yeah, Stout, that's my guy.
Okay, I don't want to be like, just assume.
Stout, that's my guy. I think it was more mutual.
Yeah.
But
is it a sign of times are changing?
With the Eagles?
Yeah.
I mean, it changed.
New coordinator again.
Well, things change every year. If you ask me. I mean, I've been with the Eagles 4 years. I had three different coordinators.
How'd that season go?
Which one?
With Patricia, were you here for that?
Oh yeah,
yeah. How was that? Like, was that hard on you guys with Sean to Patricia?
That was my second year when I only played 5 games and I hurt my foot. But I played the first game, got tweaked my foot, came back, played 4 more games. I feel like as a defense, we was kind of rolling. I feel like
was 10-1.
I know we was 10-1. I mean, I feel like we was. If I remember correctly, we probably was top 15 in stopping the run. We probably was 20-something in the pass game. But it was cool. It was 10-1. We was rolling, and then we dropped another game, and then we dropped. I think we dropped 2 games. Then we demote the side, and I feel like after that, that's kind of when, because I feel like it was all good. It was like, okay, we dropped 2 games. It's cool. It was not cool, but it's like we gotta kind of step it up. But when we demoted the side, that's when I felt like it kind of got a little hectic in the building. Definitely on the defensive side of the ball. That's when we end up finishing 31st ranked.
Not good.
You know what I'm saying?
Not good.
Yeah, so I feel like.
But you know what's funny? We were in Phoenix that year, I think, at the Super Bowl, and we were talking with Fletcher, and everybody was like, "What happened?" He's like, "I honestly don't know." Like, no one seemed to have an answer. Vegas, okay. No one
because they played in Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And Fletcher, he's like, if I honestly had an answer, I'd give it to you. He's like, I just don't know. Like, no one seemed to know how you go from 10-1 to.
I feel like you asked me. Well, I wasn't playing because I ended up getting. I think I got hurt when we went 10-1. We got 10-1. That's when I hurt my foot.
So
it's his fault.
Yeah, so I got a lot of. It's crazy. I got a lot of. I think we was 9-1. I think I got a lot. I know. I got a lot of hate saying it was my fault that the defense sunk like this. I got a lot of DMs and everything, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But I feel like we might have panicked a little bit that year, as far as and it kind of trickled down through the whole organization.
Let me get one more in real quick before we start wrapping it up. Everybody talks about free agency. The fans just there's all this change that happens. You're going through it right now.
Yeah.
What's it like to be a free agent? Is this exciting? Is it unsettling? You don't know what color jersey you're wearing next year.
Right. It's exciting for me, just because I feel like it's a privilege to be excited about free agency. There's a lot of guys who going to free agency and don't know. They don't know if they're going to even get paid or even be on the team next year. So it's exciting for me to even have potential suitors. People gunning out to me. And I mean, knowing what I went through, going through what I went through in the draft and everything, I know it's a business. Me having a couple injuries now, and kind of seeing like, yeah, it's a business. They'll forget about you fast.
But how unique of a situation has it been to play with all these Georgia guys?
Oh man, you
don't see that happen.
You don't see it. I don't know if you ever seen it happen.
Never.
I know we was able to win, and we was able to win Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we won a natty. Maybe we have a 30 for 30 one day. But no, we was able to. You'll never see it happen. You talking about guys that I'm close with. I'm talking about like Nola, who was my college roommate. You know, guys like that, and JD and JC and Keeley, and then we had Aziz, and we had Drake Swift come in one year. You know, we had a whole lot of Georgia guys come through there, and we was able to. It's been unique. It's been unique.
Nakobe Dean is with us, obviously a free agent, and was amazing during his time here. We'd love to figure out a way to get you back. Now, could you and Campbell and Bond all coexist, or do you think that's too many cooks in the kitchen?
Oh, well, we coexisted this year, but
but you came back and surprisingly played so well that Jihad, who played well, they couldn't get him back on the field because they couldn't take you off the field.
I had to. I do what I was supposed to do, but at the same time, it's like I didn't have the reward of being able to tiptoe my way back in or get my feet wet. I had to jump right in, and I had to play well. Or, let's be real, we in the NFL, I don't know if I would have seen the field.
Tiptoe, how did ballet help you get back?
Ballet helped me a lot. It helped me with my mobility, my flexibility, my movement, my balance, my core strength. We did a lot of work in like feet strength and everything, but my movement, you don't know how rigid that your joint can become after you have a major surgery like that. So just helping get the fluidity back up there of my knee and my body and everything just kind of helped me from head to toe.
Also, tell everybody back in the Atlantic City, Philadelphia area about your Kind Hearts for Life Foundation.
Yeah, it's a foundation me and my mother founded. Going to my third year of the NFL, but we did a lot since I got to Philly. We did a lot of work in the community, a lot of give back, a lot of events and everything from my rookie year. A lot of going to Boys and Girls Club and everything. So, and we wanted to put a foundation behind it, and we're gonna continue to do a lot of work. I'm probably gonna continue to do things in Philly if I'm there or not, just because of the relationships I've built. The network that I have out there is just kind of been second to none. You know, you get a different. I got a lot of people in Philly who care less that I'm on the Eagles just because I kind of came they neighborhoods and gave back. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm blessed, so I was able to be a blessing to others.
We started with the different running backs, Bo Jackson, Barry. Is there a guy? I saw Derrick Henry walking around. That's a big dude, man.
Yeah.
You have to tackle that dude?
Yeah, we did.
I don't give you a lot. I give you a lot of credit.
Is there
a monster
guy,
of a running back?
Yeah, man, he's big. Is there a guy in the league that you go in? I know you're fearless, but is there a guy you going, man, this is going to be a tough week?
Oh man, it's been we played against some hard nosed running, but we played against. Josh Jacobs always
somebody you hate
hard.
tackling.
Yeah, we played against Josh Jacobs, who always run hard.
Oh, yeah.
Javonte Williams. He was a guy, when he was with the Broncos, before I got drafted, I said I wanted to play against him because of how hard he ran. And then we played against the Bears this year. I hate to bring up playing against the Bears. But him, I was like, he just, like he's small in stature, but he's dense. And it's like you hit him, he's like, hold on.
What about Pacheco? That dude runs like a man.
Yeah, he run hard. But some guys like you some guys even bigger in stature is like they run hard, but you can hit them and it just don't feel like it don't feel as dense, and it's cool, Cause definitely we dense, so we feel it, but the Kyle, he probably one of the most dense guys that I had to hit and square up.
So I know it wasn't this year, but when you saw Cooper take down Derrick Henry with that one, what did you think? There's Cooper out there, DB, who took him down like that.
Good technique. Good.
How much you guys enjoy that in the film room?
we enjoy it a lot. You know, Vic always kind of he got like what he called a tackle tape. And he always tell the DBs to go low and everything. So for him to go low and pick him up like that, then he was able to start the celebration. Now we were supposed to do that celebration 2 or 3 weeks before that, but we just couldn't find a great big hit yet.
Were you surprised to hear about Vic thinking about retirement?
No, I mean I wasn't surprised. He's been doing it for a long time.
He's old.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a long time. He said when he feel like it's not as fun anymore, he'll retire. And so whenever he feels like he'll retire, he'll retire. He had a great career. I'm glad we was able to give him Super Bowl.
Nice.
Yeah.
Think AJ's coming back or what?
We'll see. I don't know. I can't. I'm not I don't even know if I'm coming back.
I know that. Well, you said
Statler
Statler was your boy. Is AJ your boy? Like you guys?
Yeah. But
so he would tell you. You wouldn't tell me.
Exactly.
Nakobe Dean, everybody, Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champion, of course, has been a tremendous part of the community. Nakobe, thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Good luck in the free agents.
For sure. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, hope to see you back.
I hope to be back.
We hope you.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Adamant, he wants to be back. Nakobe Dean, everybody, on Radio Row here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. We'll check back in.
He's great. He's a good conversation.
He's great. He could have kept talking probably for the whole show and gave us some great stuff. By the way, Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship tonight at 5 o'clock here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, the only station bringing you the Philadelphia Eagles down the shore, including Nakobe Dean. You heard him right here on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop, Key Acura of Atlantic City, and the Nizam's Indian Restaurant in Egg Harbor Township. More Sports Bash from Radio Row coming up.
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
everybody's attention now.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, welcome back. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to Nakobe Dean. How about that? Nakobe was excellent. And he was adamant that he wants to come back, but he's excited for free agency. But he thinks that him, Campbell, they all coexisted this year, kind of. I mean, he got most of the snaps.
Well, it was interesting, as you pointed out, when he came back from injury, how quickly Jihad Campbell's snap count went way down. And Nakobe just went right. He said he couldn't just walk right back in. He had to run back in to get his spot back and had to play a lot. And he was ready to go, which was great.
We got a big show still for you. Coming up next hour, Diana Rossini. There's a mic on somewhere that needs to get turned off. Can you turn off one of those mics? Nick, there's a mic picking you guys up. Which one's not us? All these mics are on right now, so you guys talking are all coming out over the air. That lady's conversation about game day men's health was going out over the air the whole time. But coming up, yes, I could hear it, so I was trying to figure out. I don't know which mic is which, though. I think we're 2 and 3, right? All right. Diana Rossini is going to kick off our next hour here on the Sports Bash. Barry Sanders is scheduled to join us at 3:30 in the East, right? 12:30 here.
12:30 here, yep.
I mean, last year we had Emmitt Smith, who was the all-time rushing leader. But Barry Sanders might be the all-time greatest running back.
Those of us our age, I mean, we were shocked when he retired. I think everybody was. But I used to.
Did you watch the Amazon Prime video on Barry?
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, but it was so fun, as long as he wasn't playing the Eagles, watching him. I mean, the guy was hard to tackle. I mean, he could get out of a tight spot like anybody. It was
one of the things we could ask
man, he
you
was
about
amazing.
Is many people think the closest guy to Barry is Saquon. The way that they're very slow to the ground, those big legs with the calves and the big thighs and quads that like kind of stop on the dime, change direction. So we'll ask him which guy he thinks
has a similar running style.
In running back. But Barry Sanders is scheduled to join us at 12:30 today on the Sports Bash, 3:30 in the East. Also at 5 o'clock tonight, Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship are going to join us here on the Sports Bash. That is 100% because we talked to them yesterday. Full disclosure.
That's another enlightening.
We recorded that conversation with them after our show was over last night in the Bounty on-air studio. They brought us up. So if you follow us on Twitter, at Mike Gill Show, at 973 ESPN, there's a picture of us sitting in the Bounty on-air studio here. We had a exclusive spot that they brought us to interview those guys. So that was really cool. Yeah. Sal Powell's going to be calling in right after that at about 5:10, somewhere in that range. Then the voice of Super Bowl 60, Kevin Harlan. It's always one of my favorite conversations at Radio Row is hearing Kevin Harlan's voice.
Yeah, and he's such a fun guy, too. And I think it's just appropriate to wrap up our Super Bowl coverage with him as we get down near the end because he's going to be the one calling the game, and he's always just like a kid. He's so excited to be there. I remember that when we were in Vegas, we had him call somebody pulling the slot machine.
That's right. He's had some good ones. And then, we've got so much news. I mean, we got Diana Rossini coming up. She's going to tell us a little about what's going on with the Eagles, the offseason, maybe why Stoutland's not here, maybe why A.J. Brown has been so mad. You heard what Keyshawn Johnson said. He doesn't think that A.J.'s mad at any particular person. He just thinks he's tired of his role in the offense. And there's Q Myers. Let's see if we can get Q Myers to jump in. You want to jump in? 5 minutes of your time. The great Q Myers from Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. He's going to stop on in right here and join us right now. Yeah, we're gonna bring him in right now.
I think that point, though, that you made about A.J. Brown in the offense and his role in it, I think it's fair. And I don't think he should get criticized for complaining about that.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I think what Keyshawn said is right. And now Q Myers from Game Night, he's been – my man, for people that don't know, that listen to –
my guy.
Q Myers on 97.3 ESPN. He does the show in the East. It's 10-1. But in Vegas, he also does an afternoon show like I do. So he is on in Vegas from 2 to 5, which would be what?
5 to 8 Eastern.
5, 8 Eastern.
Yep.
and then he gets 2 hours to himself, and then starts the national show. Are the Eagles a national story that you are always how does this team always have drama?
Yeah, and it's funny. We talked about it so much throughout the course of the year, and I kept saying that this team is comfortable with being uncomfortable. But at some point, it's like, man, you know that couple, that relationship that those friends that you have that always want to go out with you, and you're like, well, I don't know if I really want to go out with Greg and Jennifer tonight because there's always drama. You know what I mean? There's always drama. That's how the Eagles feel to me. They're that couple that always has some kind of drama, but man, when they're good, they're good. You know what I mean? It's like when they're on point, they're on point.
Right.
But
well,
man,
it's almost like
drama.
when you're ready to have a good time,
Yes.
they are.
Right, exactly.
But you're not always ready to have a good time.
Well, I'm always ready to have a good time, but they're not always ready to have a good time all night. They'll have a good time for a couple hours, then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, like something will just happen. It's inevitable.
Do you think? I mean, we wake up this morning. Lane Johnson might want to retire. Landon Dickerson might be retiring.
Yep.
They fired the offensive line. He left.
Man, Raider Nation wants him too. Raider Nation's like, Q, find a way to get him. I was like, yeah, no problem. Let me just call him up and tell him to get on the plane and head to Vegas.
Oh, I would imagine there's a line out the door trying to get him.
Yeah,
how many offensive line coaches can we name in this league?
Right, exactly.
I mean,
not many.
He's the one.
Yep.
But if I were to say Q Myers right now, you tell me from the outside looking in, do you think A.J. Brown is back in Philly?
I feel like he is.
Okay.
I do. I feel like he is.
Keyshawn said,
no.
Yeah. You're saying you think he is.
Yeah, I mean.
He was here, by the way.
Because I don't know who's going to make the move for him. Right? I mean, look, for example.
Well, Mike Vrabel apparently might be interested.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he'd
have to give up a heavy,
Right, and he's familiar with him.
Right.
So he knows him. So maybe there's one. But, for example, the Raiders need a number one wide receiver. A.J. Brown is that guy. If A.J. Brown was just wide receiver one, cool. Make a move for him. But it's A.J. Brown, wide receiver one, and drama.
Right.
You know what I mean? Reading books on the sideline, which is cool. Hey, whatever, do your thing. But it just seems like there's more that comes with it. And a team like the Raiders, who need that kind of help, aren't in a position to bring in that kind of personality into the locker room, and especially going to be probably a very young locker room.
Q Myers from Game Night on 97.3 ESPN.
Maybe Cleveland.
You send AJ to Cleveland. Can you imagine how that would go?
Why would we keep sending him to places that have drama?
Right. Well, because
I know the Eagles would say you take the drama,
right?
But why would teams with drama want to make that call? I would say right now, all the Patriot stuff is because of Vrabel, but that was happening in the season.
Right.
They've now gone to the Super Bowl without A.J. Brown.
Right.
Do they say we're a Super Bowl team? Do we want that drama?
What about the Bills?
Bills is interesting.
What about the Bills? Right. I mean, they need an alpha.
I like that Bills A.J. Brown, but I mean. Now, we had Sheil Kapati on from The Ringer the other day, and he thinks that the Eagles could get a top 50 pick.
A.J. Brown's a hell of a wide receiver. Like I said, I would pound the table for the Raiders to make that move if he didn't come with extras.
And I was thinking about the dead cap hit, right? Yeah. But everybody's kind of pointed out as the salary cap grows, it kind of diminishes how much that is a factor.
I like this too.
Our yearly conversation with, this is my end of hours.
I recognize that. At first I was like, hey, I get it.
Q Myers, by the way, you're off on game night.
I'm off tonight. It's Friday. I don't want to be the last of the Mohicans here. Every night I am.
Last night, you actually heard me on his show on game night.
That was clutch.
With Courtney Cronin and Q Myers.
Yep. Talking Eagle drama. Shocking.
Yeah, right? And you just heard him right here on the Sports Bash live on Radio Row. He's got to get back to start doing his stuff for Vegas, and then he's got the rest of the night off. Let him get out of here. It's good to see you as always, my friend.
Yes.
Coming up next, Diana Rossini, Barry Sanders, and Evan Cohen. Next hour on the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN.
South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
All right, everybody, welcome back. The Sports Bash is live on Radio Row. Our coverage of Super Bowl 60 continues, but we're not covering the Super Bowl. We're covering the Eagles, and helping us out with that right now, Diana Rossini is here from The Athletic, and, of course, the Eagles are always a story. There is never a day, a moment, a second, an hour where the Philadelphia Eagles don't infiltrate the headlines. Is that accurate?
So it's funny you say that because I write a column every weekend. It's basically an insider notebook, and I write about the league. And I was catching up with my husband with, by the way, the time zone thing. Like, it just like ends marriages because we're just all over the place.
I've given up.
Yeah, so our messages are so cold to each other because we just don't have time to talk.
Awake.
But
bed.
Home. Exactly. That's literally what we say back and forth to each other at work. So this morning we did have a little bit more time, and I said to him, I'm like, hey, I got to go write. I'm like, by the way, from your perspective, like consuming, what's everyone talking about? The Patriots right now or whatever? He's like, no. He's like, it's all Philly. It's all Eagles. I was like, okay, great, easy. I'll go write about that. Because you're right. It has been building and boiling and boiling, and I've been reporting a lot on it this year because obviously there's some problems.
Yeah, well, it's funny because you know that when you report something to Philly and the Philly fans don't like it, they then blame you for the story. And then I said, you can't say that you don't like her when she reports something that you don't like, but then when she said something that you do like, you're like, see, Diana Rossini said that it's good.
Do you want to come over for dinner?
Deauville?
We'll go to the Deauville. Thank you so much.
I have a gift card.
I do. I have to use it.
It sounds like it's although the Deauville, that price range might not be good for three.
It's so true. It was a little pricey, but it's good. It's a good
Diana
seat.
told us before she came on that she's got a gift card to the Deauville, and that's one of the romantic spots that her and her husband go to.
Where we make up for the fact that I've been traveling for 6 months and we haven't spoken, and my kids don't know who I am.
So,
but to that, the reason why I'm being funny about saying, can you come over for dinner, because that is what I'm stressed out about sometimes, because you want to scream to people, hey, like, this is the truth. And I've learned now, doing this long enough, it's not even about the fact that they don't believe you. They just don't want to believe you.
Right.
So I dealt with this with the New York Jets last year. I did a whole story about how Woody Johnson basically killed a trade because his sons told him that there was a Madden rating on the player, on Jerry Jeudy, that he didn't think was high enough. And Woody listened to his son and killed the trade. Like, that's insane, all right? That sounds made up.
It does.
Right? Not, obviously, especially something like that. I had to get like 15 people on that. But that being said, like the pushback on it was so much of, no, you hate the Jet. Everyone just makes it so personal. And I do think Philly fans are starting to realize now there is a problem.
Okay.
Something's not right.
So let's start with the problem. It started with some reporting about A.J. Brown and what's going on there, and then Brown, he hasn't. I mean, he tried to talk to Brown the other day. He has not talked in weeks.
He didn't talk after locker cleanout. It's been hard to get him to speak, which I guess his viewpoint, and this was what happened, a year or two ago when he didn't speak after a game, is more, if I don't speak, then I can't say anything to get me in trouble.
That is his
fans
philosophy.
don't like that.
Yeah. Well, here's why I don't like it. Because then he puts it on his teammates. Because then your teammates have to answer you. Then Saquon Barkley has to stand there for 10 extra minutes to answer what your problem is. And that's not fair. It's not a good teammate.
So what do we know about his displeasure with this season, this offense, this team? Is there?
Yeah, I don't think he's happy. I don't think he's been happy. It's been a hard year.
Is he not happy at someone else, or is he just not happy with my existence here?
I think it's the role he plays in the offense for the Eagles. I think the relationships are fine.
Like him and Hurts are cool.
They're fine. I don't think they're best friends. I don't think they're going and.
Are they going to the Deauville?
They're not going to the Deauville, right?
it's really through the prism of like a professional athlete who has been around and has seen things that could potentially turn into problems. And I think for him, there's been times during the year where he thought, I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to get swallowed up in whatever this is going to be. And now we're starting to see the wheels fall off a little. And it's not as bad as the headlines have been the last few weeks, because I do feel like Philly's been dumped on for the last month. That's like one week after another. They got retirements, and maybe this one's retiring. Is Lane coming back? And
what about Landon Dickerson?
Landon Dickerson now's popping up. Which
why did Stoutland
Jeff
decide to leave?
What happened?
Have you ever reported on another team where the offensive line coach is such a high-profile situation?
No, but I here's why I think something happened as of late, because I reached out to people close to Stoutland, and they were adamant with me that he was under contract and he was not leaving. Like, he just got back from vacation. He's ready to go. He's back in the office on Monday. I'm like, okay, great. And I moved on from this. I was looking at my text messages. I was like, this was 2 weeks ago. And probably a fail by me. I trusted this and was like, okay, I feel good about it, because I had heard a rumor, and most spend 95% of my day just chasing.
I heard a rumor.
Yes. Yeah. So I trust this person, and so this person also has always been really straight with me. So I am curious. What went down? You know? What about the new offensive coordinator? What about the offense?
And they hired a new run game coordinator.
Here's the thing. I had players calling me the day Stoutland stepped down, asking me what happened. So that also tells me
they're asking you.
Yes.
Well, I saw Jordan Mailata here yesterday, and he was still stunned and shocked.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. They didn't know. And when they call you, it's because, and I wound up having a few conversations with them about it. And I said, look, I don't know for a fact, but I bet you if you just take a long, hard look at the season, think about some of the relationships, think about what the transition is, you'll find your answer. And one player texted me right after. He's like, I got it. I figured it out. I was like, well, what is it? He's like, I can't tell you. I'm like, oh. So I get
It'll come out.
Well, what is this, a one-way thing, though? You can call me for info, but you can't give me. See, that's another thing, too. The Eagles players, they do not leak. They don't leak. They're so protective of one another. They may tell you a lot of things, but, man, you can't say it. You're not allowed to report it. They will come after you, which is good, because there is a good culture there. They want to win.
Which is why they have the success that they have. They've done a good job of staying tight-lipped and keeping things in-house. It always seems, though, they either get to the Super Bowl or it implodes. Why is that? Because
they like it that way.
Diana Rossini, by the way, Scoop City Podcast. Make sure you check that out. Chase Daniel, former Eagle, cup of coffee with the Birds. Your cup of coffee is delightful.
He's hard on you guys.
He is.
He's. But here's what I like about Chase. He sees it in a way that's just very truthful. He's not emotional about it. He's not playing politics. He watches these games. He pops on the show, and he just rips through this offense. It's like, they're not doing this, they're not doing. And he's been telling me this since training camp. And I was a little resistant to it, because I'm thinking they just won the Super Bowl. Everyone needs to calm down. It's always like Cooper DeJean and I were talking about this the other day, just how busy they were after they won. He's like, I just wasn't ready for all of that. Like, you're just nonstop after you win a Super Bowl.
He was at the Deauville.
Yeah,
I'm sure he was.
A couple times.
I saw him in Sea Isle, I think. Yeah, he was.
We asked him yesterday. That interview is going to air at 5 o'clock tonight on the show. So people listening right now to Diana, Cooper and Reed at 5 o'clock.
You guys
tonight.
got Cooper and Reed?
Yeah.
I love this show.
Yeah.
This is good. These are good gets.
Yeah.
Who's your booker?
Right there, Charles.
I know. He came running after me. He was like, come on.
The Nuggets, Sticky Nuggets.
By the way, I've said no to about 20 shows. I said yes to this.
Are you glad?
I am. This is actually, I'm going to come on with you guys more. This is really fun.
I like this.
I want to, if you don't mind, Mike, let me ask you real quick,
sure.
Diana. I saw you tweeted out today about Jim Schwartz,
yes.
and that he's going to take a year. You're suspecting. You talk about rumors. There was the Vic Fangio rumor. Is this potentially, in your mind, is Jim interested in possibly taking over for Vic next year?
I think Jim has options out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Even when this was going down, I had heard that teams with current defensive coordinators under contract reached out they back-channeled. They didn't call Jim or his agent. It was chatter about whether or not Jim would be interested in doing it. So look, Jim is at a point in his career. I don't think he's looking for a big payday. He's not looking for money. He wants to be with the right organization that respects him. And I think we can all understand why he doesn't want to be there anymore. I mean, to ask this guy to be, still coordinating their defense, be, one of the main people there, but not allow him to be the head coach. It's hard to sit in that because you also lose the room. You lose the guys.
Let's talk about losing the room, and I'm not suggesting he has, but what is the overview of Nick Sirianni? Because his role is always questioned, probably unfairly. I mean, the guy's won the Super Bowl. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs 5 times. He's won the division back-to-back times. He has the 3rd highest winning percentage in the history of the NFL. Yet, the man is questioned, but going on, his 5th or 6th coordinator. Like, there's this balance of, how many coordinators can you keep going through while having success? And then what do you read? What is your hear about Nick Sirianni, the role of him as the Eagles head coach?
The most common question I get is the one you just asked of how does the league perceive him? That's up there. And is he really in the driver's seat controlling this clown car right now?
Right? A clown car right now?
No, a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw, I had reported right at the start of the coaching cycle that the offensive coordinator position wasn't as enticing as you thought. And everyone went crazy about that, thinking, why would you not want to coach the Eagles? Look at this roster. You're made king if you get a head coaching job if you can have success here. The challenge is having success here. That's the problem. That's what's hard, and managing all these different personalities. And I do think, Nick,
the question is, what is success here? They won 11 games. They won the division, and that is viewed as not success because you got fired.
It's never
Kevin
enough.
Patullo.
I always tell the story that after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, my husband's a big Eagles fan, so he was the first person I FaceTimed from the field because he wasn't there, and I knew it would just be a moment for him. And Dork was crying, but anyway. I'm like, oh my God, they did it. I'm like, you so happy? He's like, I am. He's like, what do you think they're going to do in free agency? I go, you're asking that right now with Saquon pounding beers behind me?
The confetti still falling.
What are you doing? But that right there is a microcosm of this city. It's why I love it. It's why I like reporting on it because it's never good enough here.
But Diana, we'll do a show, and in the middle of the week, it's like, Brett Toth has played better than Juergens. You got to play Toth over Juergens.
Tanner McKee.
Where else, right? Where else is the backup center even known?
Yep.
And then requested to play because the starter is not playing up to his standards.
I do believe as much as Philly fans get a reputation of being difficult and tough, the word that people leave out is actually smart. I like watching football with Eagles fans. Yes, it can be a lot sometimes, but they understand the game well. And that's not every fan base, by the way. Most fan bases just kind of know their quarterback. They know a few players. They cheer. Eagles guys are screaming about Fangio's decisions and game management and clock management. I'm like, this is crazy. It's good, but it's great. But the standards are really high here. That's always going to be the case. And until this gets ironed out, here's the problem. I don't think Eagles fans have felt like they've gotten a win in a while. Right? What has happened in the last
Super Bowl.
That's over, man. They're about to be, the former Super Bowl champs very soon here.
Well, so you got all the stuff happening with this offensive line, Stoutland included.
Yeah.
Are we still going to see pieces of this building fall off before it gets rebuilt for next season?
I mean, I'm not going to pull a Schefter and be like, "Who's in this coming?" Because something's always coming.
Right.
I don't have anything definite. I think everything that is significant is on the radar. But there's always a thought of people change their minds.
All right,
they get tired.
A.J. Brown, back or no?
You're asking me to bet,
from what you're and here, is it more? I can't see him coming back. Or
I don't think he's going to come back.
Wow.
I have a hard time imagining that.
And is that the team just saying, you know what? We had a 5-year run. We won the Super Bowl. It's time to change it up. It's almost like the Phillies. They keep bringing everybody back, and everyone's mad. And then the Eagles are bringing everybody back. They're saying, you know what? Let's
I don't know of the conversations that Howie's had with Jimmy Sexton and with AJ's camp, but I would think they're at a point now. Howie's not dumb. He sees he's seen what this year was like with AJ, and he's not happy. How is that going to get recovered? How do you rehab it? Is it possible? Yes. I just think knowing AJ's personality and knowing how he wants to be performing at a very high level right now in his prime, going to a team with a quarterback that can sling him the ball is what I think he'd want to be.
All right. You got to go? You got to go.
I'm slammed, but go ahead, one more.
I got one more for you. How often do you come down the shore?
All summer.
You have a house down there?
Yeah. This is going to sound so snobby.
Do you want to say the city?
So
Sea Isle, Avalon, Stone Harbor? Are you Stone Harbor?
We have a place in Sea Isle.
Oh, that's not snobby at all.
No, this is the snobby part. So that's my husband's family's house. We have a house in the northern Jersey Shore because I'm a northern Jersey person.
Okay.
So I married into Philly. I chose this, which I remind myself all the time. I picked this. So what we do is we go, one weekend we go north, one weekend we go south, one weekend we go north, one weekend we go south.
That's great.
And they're very
LBI,
they're very
further.
different. More up like the Belmar area.
Yeah.
Very different.
Our signal
experiences.
goes from probably around Tom's River.
Yeah, that's me.
All the way down to Ocean City, Maryland, and then out to Wilmington, Delaware.
Well, this summer, reach out to me when you guys are trying to fill the air. I'll call you from some happy hour.
You got to get to the Deauville.
That'll do.
When you're at the Deauville,
But
that's
the problem is I need babysitters. Because I don't want to bring
help you
I bring my kids to places and I regret it within 10 seconds. 4 and 3.
Yes.
And they're
Yeah,
boys.
that's tough.
And they love St.
We do our show every Monday. When I get back, I'm doing my show Monday. Every Monday we go to Ocean Casino from the sports book there. It's unbelievable, that place. And after that, I'm leaving for Egypt.
Why Egypt?
And then I'm going to Jordan.
What?
And then I'll be back on March 1st. Maybe for the draft we'll catch up.
What is this life that you live?
Look at your life. Shore in the north, shore in the south. $200
No.
gift certificate here.
No. First of all, the shimmy I didn't need. Second of all, the shore, for especially people that go down the shore who are listening, know, like, it's nice, but we're not talking about 5-star resort and traveling internationally like you are.
Yeah. Well, last year, I was in Thailand during the Eagles run because my girlfriend had said, hey, I want to go to Thailand. When should I book it? And I said, the Eagles,
they
had imploded the year before. I said, don't worry about it. So the next thing I know,
Philly fan.
they're in I had to watch, I got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the Green Bay game. The Ram game, and then the NFC Championship game against Washington. I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning in Thailand watching these games, right back to sleep. And I said, this year, maybe you should make it the week after.
Yep, just in case. And, of course, this is the year it happens.
Well, I hope to catch up with you again.
Yes, enjoy your travels. Bring me back a present. I'll take anything.
Are you a magnet or a Christmas tree ornament?
I am a coffee cup person.
Oh, okay.
Give me a coffee. It's so funny you say that. I was in a San Francisco little store getting some stuff to bring home to remember this beautiful week of Super Bowl, which really hasn't been that beautiful, by the way. Just no vibe.
I feel like I haven't seen anything in this town.
It's just nothing. I saw one little trolley, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then I had to go.
Diana Rossini, The Athletic, the Scoop City podcast. We'll have all the scoop on the Eagles. And then just because she says it, don't get mad at her for saying it.
I know. I'm just trying to find you the truth. We'll
don't
figure
hate
it
the
out.
messenger.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we got plenty more from Radio Row in San Francisco. Thanks to Diana Rossini, and we'll be back with more Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers Sun tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
5 on the clock, back to VJ. He's got to shoot it. 3 on route. Ball game. VJ Edgecombe punctuates the dome. He knocks it in for 3.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 9 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball. 97.3 ESPN.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions.
Attention, anyone that owes money to the IRS. Every day, your unpaid tax debt gets bigger and bigger from daily interest. The longer you wait, the more you will end up paying. If you owe $10,000 or more, now is the time to settle your debt before the IRS takes aggressive action, like taking your wages or property. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now.
I got behind on my
You're listening to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
When I'm driving, I got a guy on the radio who talks to me. I can't see him, but he talks to me.
On 97.3 ESPN.
All right, welcome back. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Thanks to Diana Rossini, who gave us a lot of insight there on what could be happening with the Eagles coming up next and the drama around this team and, you know, all the stuff that comes with being a Philadelphia Eagle reporter. I mean, she obviously covers the league nationally, but all right, coming up, Barry Sanders is going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes here. We've got now Barry's people have come over here. He is on his way. And
we're confirmed. This is happening.
No, Barry's on his way. We've seen Barry before. The problem with Barry is he's the nicest guy in the world. And anytime he leaves one interview to try to get to the next one, he is just stopped everywhere.
He's got a juke ball.
Yeah, he's got to do a little plant the foot and spin. But whenever he does that,
he gets stuck. But it's going to be good to talk to Barry. It'll be nice to have him here. And the way we got him is thanks to you.
Kind of. We're going to talk a little bit about how we ended up getting Barry to come on, which he was here he comes. Here comes Barry Sanders, by the way. He is set to join us thanks to Amgen. And he's going to tell you, Barry had a heart attack. I did not know.
I know. How about that?
Crazy. And he is with us right now. Baby, the greatest of all time.
Yes. Thank you very much, Barry.
The greatest of all time is even like you guys. He left his jacket at this table, and I happened to pick it up, and now he is here with us. Barry Sanders, it is an honor and a privilege to be sitting this close to you.
Hey, guys. Great to see you guys, man.
We are in Philadelphia, Atlantic City, home of the Eagles. I know you had a playoff game against the Eagles in 1995. I remember it vividly. I graduated high school. And it was just unbelievable to watch you play.
You enjoyed that one, didn't you?
I did. I did enjoy that game. We enjoyed watching you play. We were saying, you might be one of the nicest human beings I've ever met, but on your way from one interview to the next, you just need to give him a Barry Sanders move. Plant the foot, spin out, and get to the next one. You're stopping and talking to everybody. You're too nice.
Too slow. I'm lingering too. Sorry about that.
No. It's great to see.
It's amazing. Let's start with life after football for you, because obviously your career was unbelievable. Can you believe that it is, that far behind you, the football career?
It is hard to believe. It's been 25 years or whatever the case is, but it goes fast, honestly. And it's cool to be in this setting, though. It's always great to be, participating in Super Bowl and seeing a lot of old friends and people used to compete against, and that kind of thing. So able to, and also kind of like reminiscing.
People ask us all the time.
I love to reminisce about things other than the 95 game against the Eagles, though, but.
Yeah, well, and obviously one of the stories of the career is obviously the Lions just came up short a lot while you were there, but you gave us 10 unbelievable years of 10 Pro Bowl seasons, and was what were some of the remembrances that you had during that time playing for Detroit? Because the Lions obviously had all this history of not winning much, and then now they're starting to come back a little bit, but everybody just associates your time almost as the definitive Lions era. What are some of those moments from that Lions era that you cherish?
Well, I cherish the fact that we were trying to build a winner, right? It wasn't something that was handed to us. It was something that we were trying to establish, right? And so you remember guys like Chris Spielman, right? He was a year ahead of me. The coach was Wayne Fonts. When I first got there, maybe you remember names like Jerry Ball or Lomas Brown and some of those guys like that. But we were trying to build a winner, and we got relatively close because we were able to play in I believe it was the 1991 NFC Championship game against the Washington Redskins at the time, and so that's probably it's funny because that was my third season, and I just assumed that we'd have a chance to play in a lot of NFC Championship games, right? And we beat the Dallas Cowboys to be able to go play the Redskins. and you know, it ended up being a long day, you know, but you know, that's a great memory. Also, you know, running for 2,000 yards in 1997. You know, my 9th season in the league. I played with a great group of guys up front who they wanted me to get that record or surpass 2,000 yards as much as I wanted it. And we were able to get it, you know, with going into the last game of the season against Bill Belichick, coach New York Jets. Bill Belichick was our defensive coordinator, and Bill Parcells was the head coach. And so that's another great moment that I have as a Lion. And so, yeah, I mean, there's definitely positives that happen, you know, like you mentioned, you know, multiple Pro Bowls and you know, competing in great atmospheres and things like that. But I feel like those 10 years definitely went fast.
We saw a guy in Philadelphia go over 2,000 yards last year, Saquon Barkley. And I believe talking to Saquon last year, he had said he talked to you along that way. What were some of those conversations like? What kind of advice were you giving him as he was chasing that mark?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had a chance to interact several times with Saquon. And you know, he's a phenomenal player. I enjoy watching his game just to see the kind of player he's become in the NFL, and was, you know, happy and excited to welcome him into the 2,000-yard club. You know, and just I think, you know, the conversations we've had, you know, just some of the things that I used to try to do during the season, just kind of staying fresh, making sure you get, you know, some good training in, you know, all year long or all season long, you know. Don't be afraid to use your off day, you know, as a good training day, you know, just, you know, stuff like that, you know. So it looks like he's taking pretty good notes, you know. So
well, when you see Saquon, I mean, there was a picture of him over there earlier jumping over the guy from Jacksonville. Do you look at him and see a lot of what you used to do when you made guys miss, spinning and planting and ducking and – man, there's moves you came up with I don't know that Madden button had. There wasn't a triangle or a square. You just did it.
No, yeah. I mean, I think there are some similarities. I mean, I love the fact that he has a Super Bowl ring now, you know. But no, yeah, he's a fantastic player and has a great skill set. I don't think I could have hurdled a guy backwards like that. But yeah, other than that, I think there's a few similarities.
The one of the things that you made famous so many times is changing direction, going from one side of the field to the next side and back and forth. You know, as you look back at some of your stuff, do you marvel at your own abilities that you're like, man, I can't believe that I did some of that stuff?
You know, it's funny because it always, you know, when you're doing it, you never actually know what it's going to look like until you go back and look at the film.
It's
right?
unbelievable.
But I also feel like those are things that I always, I want to say, almost dreamed about.
Yeah.
You know, just as a kid, because I always loved running backs.
Yeah.
I always loved that position, and I know in school when I should have been paying attention to my teacher, I was daydreaming about football, so I feel like some of it, you know, some of it was almost some of my daydreams coming to fruition almost, you know. So, but yeah, it is great that they have they invented a thing called YouTube, you know, and so you can go back and look at a lot of good footage and most, you know, for me, fortunately, most of the stuff they have on there is on my highlights. They don't show all the negative plays.
No, but
yeah.
There really weren't that many of them.
I did when I was a young 8th grader. I did rock the Honolulu Blue 20.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I
there
did have it. You know,
okay.
Even though I'm an Eagle, you'd say to your mom would say, "Hey, give me things for Christmas. I want a Honolulu Blue 20. Can I get one of those?" I wore that a lot. Tell us about Amgen. I know 2024. It's unbelievable to hear stuff like this. You know, you had a heart attack there, and I don't know that people and the NFL world would, you know, because you're so private and people don't see much of Barry, but it can happen to anybody.
It could, and that's really the message, and I'm grateful for my partnership with Amgen, really to just spread the word about heart health, and really encourage people to go see the doctor and have a conversation about LDL-C or bad cholesterol. Make sure you keep a watch on that, and really just give people the understanding that you can really lower your risk factors by having those conversations. The earlier you can get on top of it and have it checked, the better. And if you want to find out more about it, you can go to attackheartdisease.com/documentary, find out your testing options. But far too many of us are impacted by heart disease and stroke, and we want to just try to lower those numbers and lower those risk factors.
You made the making of a heart attack documentary that you were part of. You also had Bye Bye Barry on Amazon one Saturday afternoon. I said, oh, my God, there's a documentary on Barry. That was awesome to see a little bit behind the scenes with you and your family and everything. So everything cool.
No, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the documentary and how it came out, and because most of my sons, they weren't alive when I played. I have 4 sons. My oldest son was just, he was just 4 years old when I was playing. So it was great to include them. Great, my dad was featured in it, my mom, and just being able to tell my story in my own way, in my own time. So I'm glad you made time for it.
Yeah, check that out. Bye Bye Barry, and then of course Amgen, the making of a heart attack documentary, as you mentioned. I mean, Barry Sanders. If it can happen to Barry, it can happen to all of us. So get checked out. Barry Sanders, everybody, right here on the Sports Bash. I would say the greatest to ever do it. That's my opinion, but who's listening to me, right?
Legend. A lot of fun watching you play, Barry.
Great seeing you guys, man.
Barry Sanders, everybody, right here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. We're back with more from Radio Row, and thanks to Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop, Key Acura of Atlantic City, and, of course, the Nizam's Indian Restaurant. More Sports Bash coming up. Francisco. I think we're in San Francisco. One day you could be in Santa Clara. The next day you could be in San Jose. You actually could go to Oakland if you choose, and you could be here on Radio Row. And right now, here on Radio Row, you heard him early at 3 a.m. this morning, here time. It's Evan Cohen from the Unsportsmanlike show, weekday mornings at 6 a.m. in the East. How's the 3 a.m. working for you, bud?
I love how you say 3 a.m. here time. Not Pacific time. 3 a.m.
I don't know.
Time.
Is it West Coast? Is it Pacific?
Pacific.
Like everybody always has the EST. Like when you get these emails, and it's EST, but like sometimes you get the PCT, PST.
I don't know.
You probably don't deal with that.
The emails?
Of like we have so and so that's available. Well, you know what I mean?
Well, they're not there at 3 a.m. here time. The problem.
I was going to say, are you talking? Is anybody else in here?
No, I think. Rob, did we see anybody else today? Like nobody was here when we were here. I saw you last night.
Canny's not even here. He talked to me too.
What?
Canny.
What about him?
He talked to me. The unsportsmanlike moment of the day, 50% of the time is Canny's bad take.
Oh, well, he's home because he just had a baby.
I know.
But
that got somebody fired.
I was like, Canny's baby? You got me confused. By the way, let's go back in time. So last week when we talked about this appearance right now.
Yep.
And we talked about the setup, and we talked about your schedule and how you didn't want to be here at this time and that time, whatever it is. So last night, there's Trevor Lawrence over there, but you have me on. That sounds fun. So last night, I am at a Rich Eisen podcast event.
Yeah.
And I'm in this VIP area. No big deal. And who do I see walk in this VIP area? None other than Mike Gill. which is interesting because Mike said, I'm not sure if I can make it there early. Well, you made the decision to stay out late.
No.
No?
I went home right after that thing last night.
But you didn't have to go out. If you were worried about waking up, you still went out.
I was in bed at what time? 9:30?
You guys share a room?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah, you're big now.
No, I missed that. Like,
Yeah.
I would share a room.
Let me tell you, the beds that we have in this
Well, it'd be
room
odd for
are
Michelle
this
and I.
table. This is the table that is the bed. We each have one that is the size of this table. It's not ideal.
It's a bed.
But
it's a bed.
Hey, it's a block away. It's fine. It's getting the job done. Yeah, I saw you there. The thing was over by 8:15. I was back to the hotel by 8:30, laying in bed. Put the game. We put SportsCenter on, and fell asleep.
All right.
So
We're here.
By the
and
way,
I'm here.
you know what time? I woke up at 5:30 this time.
Your time.
Your time. And I was here at 7.
Am I supposed to congratulate
Well,
you?
you didn't know that I was going to make it by 8:30 for your. By the way,
here.
we are pre-recording this. It is 8:30 Pacific time
No,
as we are doing this
here
right
time.
now.
It's 8:30 here time.
Right. I don't even know what time this is airing in the East right now.
Right, their
but we
time.
pre-recorded this at 8:30 in the morning as we're doing this.
Yeah.
Now you've been up since
1:15.
Now, how did you play that last night? Because I did see you. It was like 6:30.
So Rob and I went back to the hotel. Rob Lorenzo does a brilliant job at Unsports ESPN and all of our social, or at Unsports ESPN on Twitter, at Unsports Like on Instagram, and Rob does all of our social and digital, and he's basically a filmmaker at this point with some of the behind-the-scenes videos. He's unbelievable. So Rob and I went for the hour pregame for the Eisen event.
Mm-hmm.
We told everybody involved we're getting out of here right as it starts, not because we didn't want to see it, because I heard it was great. It was
good.
The stories with Eisen and Berman, et cetera.
Eisen asked one question and Berman answered it.
And that was an hour show?
That was it.
Oh, my God. That was SportsCenter, ladies and gentlemen.
Apparently there was a skunk at one point that sprayed no, it was good. It was good.
What was the number one takeaway, by the way?
So
let me set this up, actually. So it was Eisen's coming out with a podcast called This Was SportsCenter.
Correct, yep.
And so the podcast is interviewing all of his old ESPN teammates that he did SportsCenter with to relive some of the great hour era of SportsCenter.
Mm-hmm.
So Berman was the guest and was a
The
live
first
show
one.
last night.
So this was the first one. Berman's the first one. And he talks about, how he was working wherever. He was an overnight guy for a couple of years, and then yada, yada. They used to air. I did not know this. So back in the day, they would air a college football game. Like the A game would air at midnight on Saturday. And then the B, like he described it as like Michigan State versus Ohio State, or Michigan versus Ohio. That would be the A game.
Right.
Midnight Saturday. They had Sunday Night Football at the time, so then the B game would air on Monday at like 9 o'clock into, and then they had a C game that aired on Tuesday and then Wednesday, progressively down the line. They
This
aired
is in 1979?
in the 80s. I think in the 80s.
So they didn't have enough programming, so they
Correct.
used the Saturday football for the week.
And re-aired them, right. And
That's
then he
interesting.
was talking about a story how they put the tape in the wrong order. And that he had to go live and say, hey, I know you just saw the ending of this game, but we're going to bring you back to the beginning of the game because
They showed the second half before the first half, in essence.
they put the first reel in, then went from the first one to the sixth one, and they missed like the second, third, fourth, and fifth. And so,
So you're a sports media junkie.
Yeah.
You must love that stuff.
I was. And you know the first person I ran into when I got here? Andrew Marchand.
Oh, you must love that.
I said, the guy, I don't really ask any questions. I always have like the people that I'm with always ask the question. So we tapped the guy on the shoulder.
And
he
I'm
said,
the big time one?
I'm
don't-
very quiet. I'm very...
But you just said you have other people ask questions.
Because
for
I'm
you.
not like, I'll figure it out myself, and I have other people. By the way, I saw him now I'm like, I saw this guy last night. He was in the elevator, and I was asking if he was drinking. Because
No,
I
he
thought
just
he was...
looks- he-
no,
he's the kind
not
of guy
because
that
he
looks
looked
like
like he
he's-
was drinking. Because the guy asked me if I wanted to go up, and I can't remember the story. Now I was like, everybody else is here is working, they said. And I said, oh, are you the only one not working? Are you drinking? And they said, no, he's not drinking.
Rob just has the look of somebody that's drunk and high, but has never.
But I was like, where did I see this guy last night?
No,
now
he's
he was
just-
in the elevator.
He's constantly working.
It was a good show, though. It was an hour, and then I went home.
Okay.
So that I could get here in time for you.
Oh, well, that's so sweet.
Evan Cohen, Unsportsmanlike, weekday morning, 6 a.m. So you've been doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning here. There's not a lot happening. But where we are, yesterday I got off the air here at 3, there at 6. And at 3:01, Jeff Stoutland left. And it's the biggest sports story in the NFL. Bigger than the Super Bowl. I bet you if you did social media clips
Rob does
about
it.
Jeff Stoutland leaving the Eagles versus the Super Bowl, the Stoutland stuff would win.
I think the stuff.
Maybe not. Maybe in Philly.
The stuff. No. The stuff nationally that I think it hit for us today was all the Brady no dog in the fight stuff.
Yeah.
That and then all the Patriot guys' reactions. Will Fork went nuts on him. We had Damian Woody on who played for the Patriots. He's like,
saw that.
He couldn't believe that he said that. So that's what kind of worked.
Why
for
do you
us.
think he says that? What's the trick there?
Okay, so Canty had an interesting take on this. What Canty said was, you don't become the greatest of all time and lose the competitive spirit to become the greatest of all time. That Brady is still in competition mode, that he doesn't want anything in theory to take away from anything he did. My reaction was, I don't understand how anything could take away from that. And what Canty said is, guys like him are forever chip on shoulder, and you never lose that, even if it's illogical.
Interesting.
Now, I would not have thought that. I would have just thought he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want them to do it without him, just like in a petty sort of way. But he's not a petty guy. I think more so, then you can go to the place of, he works for Fox on the NFL broadcast. Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator in Seattle. He's going to become his head coach. So maybe there's some neutrality there. Or my one conspiracy theory item was, could he potentially still be a little bit, tiny bit bitter towards Kraft, who he famously loves, because Kraft allowed Belichick to get rid of him?
It's a lot there. The Candy take is actually pretty good. That, the whole competitive thing.
Spirit.
Now, yesterday, Benjamin Watson was on with us, and we asked him about Brady and he literally paused for like 20 seconds. It's like, we're on the radio, man. You can't give me 20 seconds of dead air.
Right.
But he was in such deep thought about the question of
Very
what
smart
made
guy.
Brady the Brady that he is.
Right.
And it was just like he had this laundry list of reasons why, of the competitiveness and the chip on the shoulder, because he was like,
Preparation is through the roof.
that whole ideal of like, I said, because Watson's a first-round pick, Brady's the sixth-round pick, and you guys coexist in the same world, yet he's an elite.
Twice. Remember, Watson came back to the Patriots later in his career. People don't remember that.
I didn't remember that, but I did remember that he played it. Well, he got hurt. He was hurt in the Super Bowl. He missed that whole season when the Eagles played the Patriots in that Super Bowl.
The first one.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that the Brady thing is, obviously it's a very national thing, but this Super Bowl, I don't know. What do you think?
Do you want to talk about Stoutland for a second? Let's talk about that.
I do.
So, Stoutland, I was telling Nuno, our producer, this morning. So when I lived in Florida and was doing shows full-time in West Palm, and I did post-game on the UM radio network, Miami Hurricanes radio network, for 3 years, Stoutland was the offensive line coach.
For who?
For the Canes.
Okay, because there was a guy over here telling me that he was the offensive line coach at Michigan State.
I think he was.
He was at Alabama too, and he's been here since he came with Chip Kelly,
which makes sense because of the college football. But success. He was not thought of as some unbelievable O-line coach when he was with the Canes, and what he's become now is truly remarkable. I think the concerning thing is this. What's going on with Sirianni, a guy that I've defended a million times over? He's now empowering Mannion to do things in a way that he didn't. Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
To me, yes, Stoutland out the door is going to hurt the Eagles. But what triggered all of this for the last year or so that would concern you for next year?
That's a great question, and there's two things here. One, how many other offensive line coaches has anybody ever heard of? This is the only one, right?
Well, I can name a bunch, but
really.
Yeah, Alex Gibbs back in the day was an awesome one. Hudson Houck was an awesome one.
An awesome one. I'm talking about
Dante Scarnecchia.
In the game.
Know.
Okay. Well, your question is valid, though, because this is being asked all over the place. Did Sirianni drive him out? Did they try to get him out? They stripped his run game coordinator. Is this all stemming from Patullo? They said that he lost the run game coordinator duties somewhere in the middle of last year, and at that point, things changed.
When did we ever start with this run game coordinator?
That's Philadelphia, though. You're right about that, but that's Philadelphia. They care about the offensive line coach so deeply that it is like the biggest story there ever was.
Is there a guy that can obviously replace him?
Yeah, Big Dom.
Yo, I'm not mad at that, actually.
They hired someone this morning, Ryan Mahaffey from Green Bay. He's the new run game coordinator. He's not the offensive line coach.
Wait, is Rob giving you the wrap-up?
1 minute.
Wow. How about that?
1 minute. You got to go somewhere. You're going to Ithaca.
I did Ithaca, right? It's a big spot for me.
I had a lot of different things. I keep writing little notes down here, and I can't read my own handwriting.
Well, you should really do it before we start.
Well, no, because I don't want to force feed stuff. I'm listening to your answers and then trying to.
What if I come back later and I do a post-game show to myself with you? That's interesting.
We can do a walk and talk. Are you that guy? Hey, you can do a walk and talk with me.
No.
Do you love that guy?
No.
Hey, can we get? Well, you don't deal with that.
No, Rob got offered that yesterday, and he turned it down for Seth Rollins. And we said, we're not walking and talking. He's coming to our set.
You know, I worked with CM Punk.
I know you did.
And I saw him, and he was right here, and I said, yo. And he was in such character. Dude, never seen anything like it. Guy was in character, full force, walking, just kept going. Then he came back when he was done. He was like, yo!
No kayfabe. Can't break character.
He was in character, man.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. By the way,
yeah.
Last one before we go. So, Chad Ochocinco, he came over, gave me the biggest hug of all time. I never met the man in my life. He says, I want the Eagles offensive coordinator job. So after that, he went over to Club Shay Shay back here. And then our producer, Nick, said to him, hey, can you give me a quick hit? He said, Eagles, call me. He gave out his phone number. Do you post the number on social media or do you have to beep it out?
That's it. Rob, did you hear this? Oh, he's not. Rob is literally.
Do we have to go?
Cinco,
do I have to go?
Ocho Cinco gave them on air his phone number.
It was not on air. It was on video. He asked him a question, and he said, Eagles, call me. My number is, and he gave out his number. So do you post the number or do you beep it out?
I could tell you what the area code is without knowing.
Well, you could keep guessing. Evan Cohen will be on tomorrow at 3 a.m. here time, 6 o'clock where we
Mike,
are.
I got to go. I love you.
He's out of here.
Thanks,
man. Evan Cohen, everybody from Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN. We'll do it, of course, the Unsportsmanlike moment of the day a little bit later on. At some point, maybe that was it. No, that will be our Unsportsmanlike moment of the day. Evan Cohen, everybody, right here on the Sports Bash. We want to thank our great sponsors for being here. Whitehorse RV Tech Sport is always open as well. 609-403-0973. Hit us up on the Whitehorse RV Tech Sport. We want to thank our friends at Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. Hey, big game this weekend. Make sure you get a tray or something to make your party the best Super Bowl party at Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. Rocco and the team at Key Acura of Atlantic City. Right now through February 28th, they can get you in a awesome Acura. Check them out right there on Tilton Road in Egg Harbor Township. And right up the road is the Nizam's Indian Restaurant right outside of Boscov's in EHT. I am Mike Gill. This is the Sports Bash Live on Radio Row. Thanks to Evan Cohen, our Unsportsmanlike moment of the day. We got so much more still to come.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him. It's a sack.
Sixers.
Oh, baby.
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. It is brought to you by the Fanatic Sportsbook at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. I'll be back there Monday. Yes, I will be at Ocean Casino on Monday for the final live show of the year. Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, which you can get on all podcasting platforms. Yesterday, we had a fun little roundtable. We're going to do that again coming up in a little bit. Greg Cosell is going to rejoin us from the Inside the Tape podcast, and, of course, you know him from the Matchup Show. Speaking of the Matchup Show, Sal Powell will join us tonight around 5:10, and we're going to be checking in with Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship at 5 o'clock, plus Kevin Harlan, the voice of Super Bowl 60, will
good
join
man.
us.
I like Kevin.
And right now, that is the voice of Adam Kaplan from the Inside the Birds podcast for today's Football at 4.
In person, 2 days in a row, boys. Good to see you.
3 days.
3 days. I'm sorry. Yeah, you got to understand. This 3-hour time difference is crushing.
It is.
I know.
And it's year 25 of these for me. And it's now Media Row. I'm sorry for calling it Radio Row, but it never changes, Mike. I know you guys have been to a bunch of them. I've seen you there. I broadcast you before. So how's it been for you the week?
We just got done talking to Barry Sanders.
Good
Evan
man.
Cohen was just on from Unsportsmanlike, one of our buddies there. Of course, Barry was on. We had Nakobe Dean on earlier, something that he's adamant that he wants to come back. I was going to say, do you see a scenario where he's able to come back?
Eagles love him, but the thing is, have they not drafted Jahad Campbell?
Right.
The first round who they traded up for has to play.
It's a crowded room.
I know. And Scott, and as I tell on our Patreon group, because they're like, they're Nakobe Deanites. They're like, hey, is there any way? I said, guys, if they played a 43 front, absolutely they could do this, make it work. But they only play 2 linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
They're a nickel team. They're only going to play 2. They're not running it. They don't run an even front. They run an odd front. You play 2 inside backers, as Vic would say, and that's it. It's just you never say never. I've learned with Howie. I've learned my lesson. Just when you think Darius Slay's going to be cut, 5 hours later, do an extension with him. So I've learned my lesson. Don't say anything's guaranteed with Howie.
Well, he was very adamant, in fact, that he was saying, like, he loves it here, and he thought that him, Campbell, and Bond could coexist. And, I don't know how it all fits. But we also asked about Vic Fangio. Was he surprised to hear stuff about Fangio? He said no, because Fangio had made it clear that he would he would leave if he wasn't enjoying doing it anymore.
Ooh.
That's kind of interesting. That is he not enjoying, right? Is that not what he said?
Yeah. And it was basically like he was saying along the same lines of, if it was time, it was time. And he would feel like,
if I'm not having fun doing this anymore,
wow.
I'll hang him up.
Yeah, and apparently I think Jeff might have mentioned it, or Andrew, one of them, that Nakobe said in the locker room this year, maybe it was during the playoffs or maybe after his cleanout day, that he was thinking about it last year. Vic said that, I guess, to them privately in a meeting. Hey, man, this might be it. Look, you always want to go out in your own way. You don't want to be pushed out because I've seen this around the league. But Vic should be a Hall of Famer. I voted for him, Pro Football Writers Association. It was McDaniels one. I don't think they did an offensive defensive one, because if they did, I would have voted for Vic for defensive. He is really amazing. I would argue, guys, you've been around long enough. He may be the most important assistant coach in Eagles history. There's zero chance they're winning Super Bowl last year. Zero.
He has surpassed Jim Johnson in popularity.
And it's funny you say that, because I've always compared the two, because they both would give out great information. And Jim would laugh and go, hey, I should have said that, and he'd laugh. Oops.
Well, I said it because Jim Johnson became so popular
too.
because of the fact that he blitzed so much. And Vic is not a big blitzer.
Zone blitz, right, zone blitz. Although Vic, when he has to, he does it reluctantly. But he played more man coverage this past season. But overall, look, Vic's going to return. But the Stoutland thing, I know, is hanging over everything. It's really remarkable to me, and I'm as stunned as everybody else. Based on what we were told, we weren't wrong, because Stout was supposed to come back, and he decided he's not. But it's not. Jeff has something really good. We're gonna have some information on Monday morning show at 6 a.m. Eastern. Brendan, which time zone you're on? But we're at 6 a.m. Eastern, and we're gonna have a little bit more on this. We have some interesting stuff, which may or may not get. Other people may know about it. I'm not sure, but I'm still stunned by this. It's just a weird thing, Scott. We've had a crazy offseason so far. It's been a lot of action.
It's been a crazy week. One day it's the Stoutland thing, and then today we're hearing about, Landon Dickerson and possibly
that's an interesting one.
And then Lane Johnson, and it sounds more like maybe Lane's going to come back and give this another shot with this staff. But Landon Dickerson, we've seen him so banged up, and he can the body allow him to do what he wants to do, or have we seen perhaps the last time that Landon Dickerson is in an Eagles jersey?
I think he's 27.
27, yes.
I really thought that maybe he might make it to 30. That's why I didn't think he would retire this year. Look, I know it's out there, a couple reports. which I know are definitely true. That he's considering it. But, Scott, you touched on it. You have to look at the totality of his injury history. Both ACLs. Without looking up, I think he's had 4 significant knee injuries in his career. He might have had 2 ACL, maybe one knee and one the other repaired, but I think he might have had the tightrope surgery because that's the bigger surgery that the Alabama players had. Tua had it. And then his weight was, other teams were telling us, I put it on our show Inside the Birds, he looks very heavy. You wonder, and Greg Cosell said it on your show yesterday, guys. He said, when he's done, he's going to be, you worry about
well, whether or not he can walk. You're right. Greg did say that.
And that's got to answer or just discuss this further. That's where he's at, and why at only 27, he's got the knees maybe of a 50-year-old. You just worry, and you worry for his health. And I hope I hope he makes the right choice. And it's hard to walk away, but he's a Super Bowl winner. And I'm going to. This is a real quick story I want to tell you. I asked Bill Polian, Hall of Fame general manager, said, Bill, was there any player you would have overruled your medical staff on? You're not supposed to do that. You just go by, like Howie didn't overrule his medical staff with DK Metcalf. The medical staff had a concern with the neck. Couldn't draft him. Or they weren't drafting him in the second. And Seattle drafted him, and then obviously they traded him, but that was a good draft pick. Bill told me only one player, Rob Gronkowski, who got medically red flag guys. He missed a year at Arizona back. He had medical reject. He said, you know what? I should have done it. I don't care if he would have had a 6 or 7 year career. It would have been worth it because this guy's a game changer.
Well, and then you have the news this morning that Lane Johnson's also kind of on the fence here. Now, is that medically related, or is it, hey, Stoutland's gone, I don't want to go through this. Stoutland's the only offensive line coach he's ever had. You want some new guy coming in here telling, hey, whatever technique you learned under Stoutland, I'm going to change it a little bit.
Yeah, and we'll talk to Greg Cosell hopefully later this hour, Mike.
Yeah, he's going to join us at about 1:30.
Because I want to talk about vertical set, horizontal, West Coast. He watches the tape, angles. As we reported on Inside the Birds, like not just the players, but with Stout, big reason why he didn't like pre-snap motion was because of the angles. You have to change the way you block because the defensive front is going to change because they see you motioning. And Stout just didn't like it. It wasn't. I know there were rumors, which I believe were somewhat true, that Hurts is not big on it, but Stout was way out there on it. And guys, this scheme, Mike, is all about pre-snap movement and deception. And it's going to change. As Greg said yesterday, it's going to be a challenge for Hurts. But you know what? This guy's an upper half of the NFL quarterbacks. We don't do rankings, but he's clearly in the upper half. He's very competitive. We have seen timing throws, Scott, but he's never done it consistently. Here we go. He's going to have to do it.
Well, we're talking with Adam Kaplan, of course. It's Football at 4. Adam's in his normal Friday spot here. Normally, we're all sitting here, and it's been a big conversation. You've got Lane Johnson. Is he going to come back? You've got now Landon Dickerson. Is he going to come back? You now know you need a new offensive line coach because Jeff Stoutland is no longer here. You have a new offensive coordinator. You have a new pass game coordinator.
Will Cam Jurgens even get back to 100%?
Well, and what Cosell said yesterday was riveting, that he thought he was the worst.
Well, he talked to someone, I think, it's either someone in personnel or coach, Mike, who said the following what?
That he was the worst center in the league last year.
On tape.
Yes.
That's insane. And the guy made the Pro Bowl.
Right. And he made the Pro Bowl. And he also said something I thought is interesting because so many people go listen and look at Pro Football Focus. They're very prominent.
Sure.
And Pro Football Focus would say that the Eagles' offensive line was still a top half. Greg said
pass pro they were, not run blocking. Terrible. Horrendous.
Bottom third offensive line. So you look at what's going on in the offense and saying times are a-changing in this organization. Like, my point is this, Adam. They had our 5-year run. We won a Super Bowl. We got to a Super Bowl. We've been very successful. But those 5 years are done. We need to evolve.
Well, evolving, yes, Mike, but you might have as many as – because I'm including assistant position coaches, at least 8 coaching changes on offense, at least by my count. Could be more.
Mahaffey's now in here as the run game coordinator.
Yeah, and he's a
and the tight ends coach, which means Jason Michaels is
out.
Probably gone, right?
Yeah. I do not think he'll be back. I'd be surprised. I'm not trying to get Jason Michael out there. Actually, Jack Stoll told me he was the best tight ends coach he ever had. So the guy's a pretty good coach. He was in the Colts. Nick knows him, but I'd be very surprised if he returned because you basically took his job. Poor Park Frazier, who was the passing game coordinator who Nick brought in also from Indy. So, yeah, there's a lot of change. No, but to answer your question, change is good. And I know people laugh when I talk about patience. I just don't know what it's going to look like.
Right.
I know what the West Coast offense looks like, but is A.J. Brown going to be here? Scott, on your questions, things are going to change here. Can they get some way for A.J. Brown to just accept the issues with Hurts in terms of timing? It's when he said use me, but really use me, I know what that meant. I want the ball on time.
Right.
That's what it meant. I may be the only person who understood it because you have to look what A.J.'s posts look like and what the heck does he mean? I get that. I see it a little differently than most people.
Well, I think it's crazy with A.J. Brown how, I think the gut reaction is, A.J.'s rocking the boat. But when you go back and really look at the things he said, was he wrong? He was telling
right,
the
Scott,
truth.
But do you have to go on social media?
I agree with you, and it's about timing, and it's about method, right? And I think, yes, that's where you can criticize him. But what he was saying, I think we can all look back at and just be, he wasn't wrong. But what's he doing with – it's just not necessary.
And one thing on A.J. Brown we'll move on is why would you trade him? Because it's never too late. He had the problem with his knees in Tennessee. I was told that pretty much one year he didn't practice on Wednesdays. Dr. Chow, you talked about Dr. David Chow. I know you've had him on your show. He called them football knees. His knees are much older than his age would tell you. And they've done a great job of getting him through practices each week. But you don't want to wait. Like Alshon Jeffrey, he was done. When he was done, like they restructured his contract. It's one of the few mistakes Howie's made. He's made a lot on contracts. They restructured and extended, and he wound up falling off the table. So you don't want to wait. And then Lane, I didn't say, but 35 years old, turns 36. It's a number of injuries, Mike, and father time catches up to all of us. And if he comes back, this has to be his last year.
Well, that list, Frank, really got. I mean,
he didn't have the rupture; he had the sprain, but that's a 6 to 8 week deal, and it wound up being over 8.
And they didn't put him on IR. Were you surprised by that?
Yes, because we had Aaron Borgman, former assistant athletic trainer for the Chiefs and Eagles. He goes, guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. If he comes back, special boot, he's going to have to learn to take steps differently. He goes, it's just going to be very, very difficult.
Huh.
And he never came back.
He never came back, and now will he come back? That's something to keep an eye on. Now you have potentially then, Adam, the domino effect if you lost Lane and Landon and your offensive line coach this offseason. That would be –
it's got to be crushing. You heard Mailata's like he could barely speak. He did an interview. I forget who he did it with, but I saw some quotes, and you mentioned it, Mike. Lane Johnson's only offensive line coach. That's ridiculous. As much as people beat up Chip Kelly, rightfully so, he actually had a couple of really good hires. And Stout was one of them, but it's been a crazy. As Scott said, it's been a crazy week.
Which is funny, by the way, Adam.
Stout's stories broke when we were on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah,
we have been here on Radio Row. Right next to us was Dave Bickett from the
Burkett,
from the Detroit Free Press. He says, "Oh, I remember Stoutland at Michigan State. Like,
wow.
Nothing great." And then somebody else like, "Well, he was at the University of Miami when I was there." He's like, he wasn't like. And then there was another guy who was like, he was at he's a guy who bounced around from college to college. He was at Alabama. And then he comes here, and it turns into Stoutland U, and, like, this is the greatest offensive line coach in the history of the game. It's amazing how it all kind of came together.
I understand what you're talking about. He was a legend, though, at Alabama when he really started to develop players. But this thing with Stout is could be a mini 30 for 30. I'm stunned that it went like it went based on what I'd heard the previous week, that everyone associated with thought he was coming back. And they figured out they kind of came together. Obviously what happened, he lost some power during the season last year, which is in October, I was told. I know Jeff McClain put something out first, but it was in October, which is crazy. And that's what I say about 30. There has to be more than that's out there.
Well,
that's really odd.
And didn't really tell him.
Here's what I say about that. There's no way Nick's going to come and, hey, man, we're stripping you of the power. And you're not going to tell him why? Come on. I have a hard time believing that.
Well,
his juice in that building?
Interestingly enough, then, right, when this whole offensive coordinator search happened, there was some murmurs that, well, maybe the guy doesn't want to work with Stoutland. Not work with him, but just, hey, I want my own guy.
We put that out 2 years ago with
Kingsbury.
Kingsbury,
who, by the way, just got hired by the Rams.
Yeah, that one was.
Do you find that weird?
No, because I'm going to tell you why. I've known about this. Him and McVay are tight. He lives out west.
Yep.
And he had like a standing offer to come if he wanted to. If he was he has time left on his contract with Washington.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of knew this was going to happen if he didn't coach this year. I actually thought he'd get the Baltimore job. I thought I would have loved him to see work with Lamar Jackson, but no. I think part of it is when you want to bring in your own guys. It's okay to bring in a couple guys, but you want to clear out most of a staff. And being how it's just that's a little bit strong. The coaches I talked to around the league were shocked that he wanted to clear out the Eagles staff, most of it. This is when Stout had more juice then.
Right. Well, exactly. But the fact that now there were some murmurs about this like 2-3 weeks ago. They're like, well, these guys, they might want to bring in their own guys. And it's like, well, why, if you're a coach, you want to get rid of Stoutland, who's regarded as the best? Why wouldn't you view him as an asset to what you do?
Well, no, but they had worked something out with Stout. He could come back. Absolutely, they wanted him back. But apparently he just didn't. He wasn't comfortable with it. It may have been the week before. I'm not sure. But they have to move on, and this staff is going to look different. When I go to training camps, guys, it's really funny. I always say, wow, this is different. This thing will look like nothing that I've seen in a while, other than when Nick first came in here.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, yeah, it's a different scheme. We don't know if A.J. Brown's good. There's just, guys,
and listen,
so much different.
I know the relationship between McVay and Kingsbury. I'm just surprised that he's not going to call plays there.
No, he's probably going to be like a consultant. And, but here's what's great about it. Kingsbury runs a completely different offense than McVay. And McVay, what he does is he's great at changing up. This year, they ran for like almost 2 months. Greg Cosell pointed out to me, they ran more 13 personnel, 3 tight ends than anyone. He never did. He never ran 3 tight ends ever. That's talk about evolving, Mike, which you've mentioned.
Yeah, well, and then the flip side of this, Adam, before we bring Greg Cosell into our roundtable here for Football at 4 in the next segment, so stick around for that.
Cool.
The flip side is, did Nick kind of have a come to Jesus moment himself and say, you know what, if we keep going down the road we've been going, I need to show that I'm willing to evolve and change, and I might have to make a tough decision, but that's what we need to do.
This one had to be tough because he came in, he saw Stout, how much of a stud he was. Now, he also saw that maybe some things that he wanted to bring in, Stout was not, agreeing to. And Stout, I've heard from since he's been there, as much as everybody loves him, and he's an unbelievable coach, and the secret sauce is his player development, which they're going to miss. Mm-hmm. We'll see about whoever runs their offensive line, what that guy can do. But he also runs a scheme, and he believes what he believes in, and you can't really get him out of it. And that's not easy. That's part of this thing of the Stout experience. You love the guy. You just wish, like the pre-snap motion is just someone, because they ran basic motion the last 2 years when he finally said, okay. Someone from who used to work for the Eagles told me they must have had to torture him just to do basic motion. He just doesn't, as I explained it, he doesn't like the angles. He's not into it. He's not the only O-line coach, by the way, Scott, that feels that way. But it is what it is, and now it's changing.
Well, I was going to say we've talked about use the word evolve.
Yeah.
I guess if you don't evolve or don't choose to evolve, then perhaps changes need to be made, and you're going to find yourself somewhere else.
I think that's what you just said. That my belief strongly is it had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I say that. I don't know had he agreed to whatever role that would be. He maybe do something with the Eagles organization this next year. And the Eagles contractually he's under contract. So he's not going to the Giants, no matter what happens. But because I know people are talking about that. But overall, change, I think we've all been through it. Sometimes reluctantly you have to do it, but you have to change with the times. And I just can't wait to see what this offense is going to look like.
We're all looking forward to that. We're looking forward to everything that's going on this offseason. We're going to talk more about the Eagles and their offseason and everything that's kind of been going on with this team here on the Sports Bash Live as our Football at 4 roundtable continues. Greg Cosell from the Inside the Tape show on the Inside the Birds platform is going to be joining us. You also see Greg Cosell on the matchup show with Sal Powell, and Sal Powell is going to join us in the next hour. And also at 5 o'clock on the East Coast, Nakobe Dean, Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship will be joining us. We had a conversation with both of those guys yesterday. You'll also hear what Cooper said. I asked him, inside or outside does he enjoy playing that spot better? And also, we'll get the thoughts of Cooper on how important it will be to get Reed back in Philadelphia, because we know Reed Blankenship is, in fact, a free agent. So we'll get into all that and more. Still to come, this is Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. And all our conversations on Radio Row this week have been brought to you by our good friends at Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. That is over in Brigantine. And don't forget, if you are having a Super Bowl party, you cannot have a party and people at your house without calling Mel from Ernest & Sons, 609-266-1588. Ernest & Sons Meat Market for your big game catering. Of course, it is the Sports Bash Live, and we couldn't do it without our friends at Key Acura. Rocco and the team now through February 28th. You can get into an all Acura ADX, and that's at $300 a month for qualified buyers. And last but not least, hey, looking for something to do on Super Bowl Sunday? How about the lunch buffet from 9:30 to 3 at the Nizam's Indian Restaurant? All right, when we come back, Greg Cosell, NFL Films, and, of course, the Inside the Tape show is coming up on the set right here. So he'll join us for more Eagles talk and breakdown of who needs to stay and who needs to go. That's next on the Sports Bash on Radio Row on 97.3 ESPN.
Listen to Super Bowl 60.
The Seahawks are going to Super Bowl 60. It's a rematch with the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara.
Sunday, February 8th, complete coverage of the big game is on Westwood One. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Graham. Join Kevin Harlan, Kurt Warner, Laura Oakman, Gene Steratore, Ryan Harris, and me for all the action right here.
Listen to Super Bowl 60 exclusively on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. We have the perfect solution for sitting in traffic.
You come with me.
The Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Welcome back, Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN. Our coverage from Radio Row continues. We got some good text messages coming in. This guy wants to know, is there a way we can replay the shows? Greg Cosell was great yesterday. Well, guess what, buddy? Greg Cosell is back right now.
That's the guy. One guy.
No way. No way.
He's back in black. See that?
Yeah,
See that? AC/DC. See, he loves music.
There you
He's
go.
a big
Oh,
music
yeah.
guy, Cosell.
Oh,
You wouldn't
yeah?
know by looking at him, but he is.
Huge music guy.
Well, guess what? Greg Cosell is back, everybody. For Nick, can you help Greg out with that right there? There we go. He doesn't need any help.
Yeah.
He knows. He does television.
He
radio.
called you old yesterday. He knows how to fix it himself.
Yeah, you know.
He said, man, Greg, you're almost 80, he said. Can you believe this?
Kaplan just can't believe how funny I am.
Again, you wouldn't know by looking at him.
No. Pleasure to have you back. A little football at 4 roundtable. There's the back.
There you
back.
go.
Yeah. So what did you were the first person I saw this morning that said, man, what about this Lane Johnson stuff here? Lane, Landon, Stoutland's out. What's this offensive line going to look like
they're gonna
next year?
have to address it. Even if Lane comes back, he's going to be, 35, 36?
36, yeah.
He's been hurt a lot. They're going to have to address the O-line for sure. Juergens did not have a good season. Maybe we can write it off to injury, but the fact is he played. So all we have is the tape right now. And they did sign him, so it's not as if they're cutting him. So I would assume he'd be the starting center. We don't know about Landon Dickerson at this point. So they're really going to have to address the O-line. And we know how he feels about both lines. So this is going to be I would assume, a heavy free agent draft getting O-line competition.
Well, and it's funny because, not that we need to get our hands dirty with the draft, but at 23, you can say they need offensive line help, they need corner, they probably need an edge if Jalen Phillips isn't here. I don't think they would take a safety in the first round. What if Goddard walks out the door? I mean, I know they go best player available, but they have a lot of best player available options for a lot of spots.
And the way teams draft, and Adam can vouch for this as well, they basically take the best player available at a position of need. That's the way most teams draft. And unless there's just a superstar sitting there that dropped. Like I think back to the year Derwin James dropped to 17. You were going to take Derwin James at 17 no matter what you had on your team because most people had him as a top 7-8 player in the draft. But for the most part, teams take the best player on their board at a position of need.
Yeah, well, they need a lot. How crazy how fast this league moves. They win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They play, they win the division, and now we're saying, man, how much does this team need? You talked about something yesterday about the offensive line play and, Juergens and just the line play in general.
It was not very good this year.
And is that a surprise to them?
Well, my guess is, and Adam, feel free to jump in here, my guess is going into the season, they thought the O-line would be a strength. Look what happened the year before. Historic running season. Now, I don't think anybody thought Barkley would get 2,100 yards again.
No one did.
Barry Sanders did.
Get out of here.
Didn't he? He said he was pretty adamant that he thought
we love Barry, but come on.
Barry said that they talked a lot about on his journey.
Right. But I think everybody thought even if he wasn't going to get 2,100, that he'd certainly get 1,500, 1,600.
That would be the number.
And average 4.8, 4.9, somewhere in that range. I'm going to give you a great stat. A great stat.
Boy, I know where he's going.
It just popped into my head right now.
Okay.
Last season, 2024, just in the second half of games, final 30 minutes, Barkley had 322 carries for 1,753 yards.
That was 2024 season. Correct?
2024 season. This season, in the second half, he had 136 carries for 508 yards.
Okay, so I would have a retort question for you then. How difficult did that make Patullo's job?
Well,
that basically half of his playbook was.
There's a lot that goes into Kevin Patullo.
Okay.
I know Eagles fans obviously thought he did a bad job, and obviously the offense wasn't very good in all areas for the most part. There's a lot there that can't be discussed, I'm sorry to say. But and Adam knows a lot of this as well. But, the fact that they are a running team that couldn't run the ball is a big deal.
Yeah. Right, so
how do you overcome that?
I harped all year. is Patullo in over his head? Is he this? Is he not good? Is he not qualified? I said, I don't know how to respond to that personally, but if I can't, in other words, if I run a run play and I'm Kellen Moore in 2024, I got 8 yards on that run play. Patullo can run the same exact play and not get a yard.
Right.
And then that changes the whole rest of the drive.
As Adam can attest, we showed a lot of that on Inside the Tape, you know, where the offensive linemen just did not make blocks.
How many did Juergens miss, Greg?
Yeah, a lot.
Well, penalties also set them back. I mean, it seemed like every time they'd be on schedule, they'd get a penalty and it would take them off.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, look, I think fans in general, and fans are what makes the game. So I'm not knocking fans at all. That's what makes the game. It makes us be able to sit here and, you know, and shoot the you-know-what. But there's always,
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, but there's always multiple reasons.
Nakobe did not use that word twice.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yes.
There's always multiple reasons why things work and don't work.
Sure.
It's rarely ever one thing. And a lot of people want it to be one thing. But let me just explain something really quick, and because I know Adam hasn't really spoken yet, and I don't want to monopolize. Yeah. But people have to understand, when you put a game plan together, multiple coaches are involved. It's not just Kevin Patullo. You know, what happens is one coach is assigned 3rd and 7+. Another coach is assigned red zone. Another coach is assigned first down. Another coach is assigned, you know, this particular down and distance. It's Kevin Patullo is not doing all of this by himself.
Correct.
Is that where the whole Stoutland thing weaves in with this new offensive coaching staff?
Well, we don't know the answer.
No,
for
but
sure.
in terms of, you mean in terms of fit?
No, in terms of having some role like that where you're helping with the game plan.
Well,
and
he
we
had
talked about it
run
last
game coordination.
segment.
Yeah, they took that away from him in season, and he wouldn't have had it here had he come back as the offensive line coach. So, yeah, that's going to change. But Scott, when you get back to last season, when you cannot play to your foundation, you can talk to any coach, especially a play caller.
It's hard.
It's really hard in season to change. Now, I give Sirianni credit going back to 21. He wanted to be a heavy passing offense, okay? I called it skipping steps. Hurts was struggling a little bit. Nick was struggling as a play caller. Shane Steichen said, hey, okay, I know you've talked about this before. We're going to scale it back. We're going to help them out. And they took off. It was better. They made the playoffs. And in 22, Hurts had his best season by far.
Mm-hmm.
But Greg talked about the foundation. This team is of 32. They're not making you guess what they want to do. Yes, with Derrick Henry, you want to run the football. But with Saquon Barkley and the contract, they redid his contract last year to get more money. It starts with this. But when you can't block, how many times do we have to see Cam Jurgens whiff? And there's clearly, I get it, he had back surgery, okay? That we have to talk about that. Context matters. But Mailata didn't play as well. Steen, there are major questions now with stat out where he should be starting. Jurgens had a tough year, but not a good year, okay? Lane was hurt. Lane missed half the season. He's not quite where he once was. Still very good, close to elite. But, Scott, this offensive line is completely different now. And who knows now with the new coach coming in and the scheme's going to change? Who the heck knows if they even fit?
So then, guys,
that's a good point.
Is this the perfect time to then move on from A.J. Brown? When you have all this new stuff coming in and just say, let's just change?
Well, I would answer that this way. Again, we're not in the building, so we don't know what the whole A.J. Brown. We just see the public stuff.
Sure.
We're not in the building. But you really don't want to get rid of really good players. I mean, that, you know.
What
again,
did the tape say about A.J. Brown this year?
I mean, I would say at times he looked uninspired. That would be a word I would use, uninspired. But I'm sure there's no excuse for that, by the way. I'm not defending A.J. Brown by any stretch of the imagination. But at his core, he's a really good player. I mean, A.J. Brown at his best is a top 5 receiver in the league. So, again, I don't know what went on. As I said, there's no excuse for being and that was just at times. That's not all season. But
was it more later in the season than earlier?
I can't, that's hard for me to say.
Right.
But, you're dealing with a guy that when he's – and look, a lot of receivers are prima donnas. We know that. He's not.
We had one over here earlier, Keyshawn.
Yeah, there's
who, by the way, predicts that AJ will be gone,
and he might be. Again, that
no inside. Now, just said based on the relationship and what was going on, he would say he probably wants out, not because he doesn't like anybody, just
unless he feels that this new coaching staff on offense is going to give him an opportunity to have 150 targets and catch 110 balls.
That's interesting. Because that's what my thought process is. If they could ever convince him, Greg, say, listen, this offense, you're our ex-receiver. We're going to run these plays, which we know, going back to Tennessee, you loved and worked. You've talked about play action, bang 8 stuff, all the kind of stuff that made him excel. What he loves, his body.
Look at Mannion's background. He's got McVay in his background. Okay?
Crossers, yeah.
So let's say that they come in and they see A.J. Brown to be used and deployed in a similar fashion to Puka Nacua.
Reduce him a little bit.
Move him around, reduce him. Have him have, like I said, 150 targets. He might be rejuvenated. So I don't want to sit here and say, again, we don't know the locker room, we don't know the building.
But Greg, here's the one issue, and I said earlier on your show. Use me, but really use me. He wants the ball on time. You know this because you see the tape.
You're right.
When the ball's supposed to be out in 1.8 to 2.0 and it's out in 2.8, the play's dead.
Everything. The window's closed.
It's done.
Yeah.
So that is the tape shows it. It's not a guess. It's confirmed what the tape study shows.
No, and
not only by him, other people we've talked to.
And obviously, Puka caught a ton of balls between the numbers,
yes,
which up to this point has not been something that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' pass game does much of.
Now, we talked to Romeo Dobbs this week, and his point was, he said these receivers should expect a lot more balls. Now,
why?
He's a free agent too.
Number 87, yes. Why though? Why did he say that they should see it?
Just the offense that he got, the sense he got from Mannion.
I think the leading part was the Eagles' offense not creative or enough?
I see what you mean.
Basically
that's why I
saying
asked.
they should expect to get the ball a lot more than they were.
Interesting. Context always matters. That's why I asked you.
Well, and don't forget, even last year when they won the Super Bowl, they weren't really a passing team. I mean,
not at all.
I've talked about this, and obviously they won the games and they played a certain way, and it was very effective. You can't dispute that, but. Jalen Hurts had 9 or 10 games where he didn't throw for over 200 yards. They're not a passing team. So, we'll see. Bringing this group in, this entire new staff on offense, I'm not saying they're all of a sudden going to ask Jalen to drop back 45 times, but it's clear to me with this new group that they expect the pass game to be much more of a significant factor in what the offense looks like.
How about Saquon as a receiver, or using running backs more as a receiver? Is that something you think we'll see more of in this offense? A la a West Coast style.
Can be. I mean, Saquon, I think, is pretty good. I mean, we've seen him at times. We saw him this year against Denver when he ran that wheel route and they matched him up against Singleton and he beat him, for a 49 or 50-yard touchdown. He is capable of that. I don't know if he'll all of a sudden become a detached player. He's not Bijan Robinson as a receiver, but he possibly.
But what about go ahead, Adam.
No, I was going to say,
follow up on that.
Just to add on in terms of visually what it looks like, Scott, Mike, tight end, and not all, but most West Coast offenses are a factor. You'd love to see Goddard return. I wouldn't rule it out based on talking to someone close to Dallas.
1-year deal probably.
He's certainly open to coming back. We know this.
Yep.
Not a secret. Of course he would be. I mean, the way he was used in the red zone, which is interesting.
He stayed healthy. He stayed healthy for once.
He missed one game.
Yeah.
It's guy could block.
Yeah. Well, and they need one.
And they don't.
They
don't
need
have
so many other things
that
they might just say, let's just bring him back.
Look at the list.
Dance with the devil we know, right?
The list of both sides of the football, more on defense and offense, but the offensive line issues, Mike, it's going to be a fascinating
It's
offseason.
a Football 4 Roundtable. Adam Kaplan from the Inside the Birds podcast, Greg Cosell, Inside the Tape, the matchup show on ESPN television. Guys, what would you think of, I know Barkley, 2,000 yards, he's their guy, but so many teams do show you something different. Do they need to maybe, I don't care if it's Tank Bigsby, if he's the guy here, but just give you a little different look every now and then?
Well, and also, don't forget Sean Mannion, okay? Green Bay, they even though Jacobs was the number one back, they played Wilson a lot of snaps. If he thinks about, his buddy McVay with the Rams, Williams and Corum never played together, but they gained over 2,000 yards combined. So who knows? I mean, I personally really like Tank Bigsby. When I did him coming out of Auburn, I thought he was a really good prospect. I don't know what happened in Jacksonville. Obviously, they felt he was, dispensable. But I think he's and I think when he got carries, it'd be hard to argue that he looked really good.
It's a change-up. He has such a unique running style, Greg, where he tries to break everything outside. Now, the Niners saw this, and they did a good job in the Eagles' playoff game. But Bigsby's an excellent backup running back. And then you've got guys who you just don't know. They're got, like the Jalen Phillips situation. Can they bring him back? He looked good when they had him after the trade. The Eagles, some most questions, Mike, as they sent him back to you that I can remember in years with this football team.
You know, and one other point, too, is I hope fans understand that very often if a team has a number of needs, which we've just really discussed, not every need gets fixed in one off season. Yeah. So we don't know what they're going to prioritize.
Mike, should we expect the team to – should we expect this team to take maybe a step back this year?
I mean, you don't know that. I mean, because we still have free agency in the draft. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what.
And if anybody could do something with all that, Howie certainly has shown he can. But.
Yeah, you know, look, they played this entire season and had a really good defense with Adoree Jackson playing corner. So, I mean, you know, a lot of people thought, oh, my God, this guy, they got Adoree Jackson, can't play. But, you know, they played the whole season and had a really good defense. So, you know, you can live with certain things.
One thing I want to add, so you talked about you're trying to get it all done in one offseason. So I'm in John Lynch, the general manager of the Niners office in 2018. I didn't know the guy. You know, I'm to say hello. So, you know, I was just doing an interview with him, and we shut it off, and we were talking, and I'm like, man, you guys have a lot of needs. He goes, I want to show you something. He pulls out a binder and say, read this. He goes, you can't solve every problem in one offseason.
You can't.
And I was like, wow. And he goes, you shouldn't try to.
Right.
Scott, on your point, because that's not the way, because that means you're desperate and you start making rash decisions. And you can never win by winning.
And you don't allocate your dollars properly then.
True. And on that, Howie learned the hard way because he used to be very aggressive in free agency. You got to balance it out. You have to be you draft and develop and you supplement for free agency. That's the way the best teams do it. And Howie's done a great job of that recently.
Well, they got Nakobe. Now, he was on here earlier saying he does definitively want to come back. Don't know how possible that is.
Who said that?
Nakobe Dean.
Oh, okay.
Does it even make sense? Or was he so good that if he wants to come back and they can make it? Or do you say, look, we got Campbell here. Sorry, man, we got to do it.
That's the issue. How do you delay it a year, Greg?
That's the issue. But, see, I can tell you for a fact that they think Dean is terrific. Now, I don't know what kind of money he gets. Maybe he's more scheme-specific and he fits the Eagles, although I think he's played really well overall. But they did draft Campbell, and it was clear from everything we saw that was, you know, on social media because they put it out there that they really wanted this kid. So, I mean, he was their target, and, you know, now he's going into his second year. Now, he was still a first-round pick, right?
Campbell?
Yeah,
they traded up.
30.
Yeah, they traded
right,
up.
So therefore,
30.
I mean, do they need to make that decision this year? No. But, again, what is Dean going to get on the open market? If the number goes way too high, I would think they're not going to match it.
Jalen Phillips, what do you guys think?
Depends what he wants. Like
is he imperative or
no? But they didn't make a trade for him not to return. If they can make it work, but Greg talked about it. They want to do a bunch of extensions. It's the way they didn't get any done in the regular season, which is surprising because they have a history of doing it. They tried, but sometimes it doesn't work out. But they got to get through that part, the extensions, and then they have so many guys on defense they could look at, Scott. But with Dean, it's like, how long are you going to delay Jalen Campbell being a starter? But it's got to be cost productive, not cost prohibitive. You just can't. Nakobe Dean is a terrific football player, but you're not going to pay a guy. You'd asked me this earlier. With that injury history, you're not paying him $20 million a year. That's not happening.
I mean,
not here. It's not.
They would love to be in a situation with Campbell at 6'3", 240, with Bond at 6'2", 6'3", 240. You know those. Because in a Vic Fangio defense, the middle of the defense is so critical. Linebackers and safeties are critical. And now you've got the Reed Blankenship situation as well. Because I can tell you for a fact from the defensive coaching staff, they viewed Blankenship as almost the key to their defense.
Yeah.
Because he could set everything up. He knew everything, you know, and that's not easy. That, you know, in a Vic Fangio defense where they literally make an adjustment on every play, Blankenship was a master at that.
Greg, did Blankenship play well enough to get a lot of attention on the market? Christian Parker is in Dallas.
Well, that's the issue.
So do the Eagles have the opportunity to bring him back based on, hey, he knows our system and there's not going to be a big market for him?
Well, the big question is how other teams view him because he was
We're going to talk to him, by the way, in 10 minutes.
Yeah. The other issue is he was so good in this defense, and Fangio's back, and he was a critical piece. Will teams view him as specific to Fangio's defense? Because obviously he's not a superior athlete for the position. You know, he's not exactly what you want in terms of athletic traits. So do other teams look at him and say, not the guy? Or do they look at him and go, man, that is a savvy, smart defender. Once he learns our system, man, he'll be great. You know, you don't know how teams will look at him.
And Mike, that's called beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
He has more worth to us than he does to another team, and it's a good point that Greg makes.
Except for Dallas, maybe.
Right.
Well, I mentioned that yesterday.
They become interesting, don't they?
I mentioned that about Nakobe and
Ooh.
And
you lose Nakobe and Reed to Dallas would be rough.
I would just because here's why, and Greg and I have talked about this before. When assistant coaches become coordinators, they like to bring their own guys in.
Yes.
Because they know the scheme, and I'm sure he's going to run Fangio. I'm sure of it.
Oh, we saw it when Gannon went to Arizona. He takes
Josh Sweato had played very well.
Right.
Kaiser White.
Kaiser White, the receiver, the enforcer. Who was the guy? The guy who came over from Indy, the well-built guy, but he's there to block.
Oh,
yeah. You know what I'm talking about. There was a number 4 receiver.
Josh
Pascal. Zach Pascal. Good job, Mike.
Yeah.
You know it. Good job. Yeah. That's what you do, and that's why. And we'll see. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if I know the way it works with these coaches, they have to have their guys. Like, they're insistent, Scott. And sometimes it's funny. You're like, you wanted that guy? I'm not talking about these two guys. Some of these coaches do that.
Well, it's like, hey, if I'm going to be successful here, I got to have someone that knows what I want to do.
Because Blankenship can, in a sense, teach the defense as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. I get it.
So that'll be interesting. The Phillips thing, they need a corner.
I got one. I mean, should we expect Jalen Carter to get extended this offseason?
They're going to try. Now,
what about Jordan Davis?
That's another one that
he played.
I was talking to his agent today. They expect an extension.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. There are a lot
you
of
go. You held that one to 152.
You like that? Well, they're going to try. That means they're going to. That means they're going to.
They believe it's going to work. Let's put it that way.
But
Jordan Davis. Yes.
Jordan Davis.
But at the beginning of the year, did they anticipate that he was going to play that well, that they would have to extend him?
Well, I don't know what the Eagles thought. I mean, you know, as Adam mentioned yesterday, I loved the way he progressed throughout the season. I thought he became a really good football player. And the number of snaps in which he played became really important.
He became more reliable than
That's
Jalen
how I
Carter.
knew. Yeah. That's how you knew that Vic trusted him, because I told folks when we started the season, you'll know all that you need to know about Vic and Clint Hurt and their confidence. If he's playing over 50% of the snaps,
which he did,
he's in. Then you know he's a player. If he's at 35 or 40 or below, forget it. Then they totally miss. And they rolled over his fifth-year option. It surprised me, but I see why they did.
All right, we got a couple rapid fires. Here's the last minute right here. There's the music. Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith. Were they happy with them this year?
I think Hunt's on the right path for sure. Smith, to me, this year was a little bit of a non-factor.
Do they need a third receiver?
In this offense, they will, but that's a complicated question, Mike. We'd have to have more time. I need a 30 for 30 on that.
Okay. Greg Cosell, great to see you. Adam, of course.
That was good.
We'll be back during Football
Good
4.
stuff.
That was a cool Football at 4 roundtable the last couple of days.
Yeah,
Greg,
that was great.
That was awesome.
Thanks, Mike.
So much fun.
Good.
All right, coming up next, Cooper DeJean Reed Blankenship together on the Sports Bash live, followed by Sal Palantonio, and then the voice of Super Bowl 60, Kevin Harlan, joins us right here on 97.3 ESPN, your home for Super Bowl 60. We are live at Radio Row thanks to Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop, Key Acura of Atlantic City, and the Nizam's Indian Restaurant. All right, everybody, welcome back to Sports Bash is live on 97.3 ESPN Radio Row. Of course, it's been a wild couple of days, and it's even wilder right now. We are in the Bounty on-air studio upstairs looking over everything, and you can't have football without wings, and you can't have wings without Bounty, and you can't have a Radio Row without these two guys right here. Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean are live on the Sports Bash on 97.3. What's up, boys?
How we doing? How we doing?
I know you guys have been bouncing here, there, everywhere, but we're the only Philly station in the area.
Yeah,
so
we're a long ways.
Finally get to talk to some hometowners, right?
Finally. Yep, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
So how's the week been so far? How's it different from last year? You didn't know all this hoopla was going on, right?
I didn't even know this was a thing, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, but
I had no idea.
I didn't know there was this many people here. But I'd much rather be playing in the game, obviously. But this is a cool experience, I think. Get to talk to a bunch of people. Got to have our podcast here, so it was a lot of fun.
So one of the crazy things about this week is the game's going on, and then there's everything else. Has this been like a crazy 48 hours? I mean, you got Stoutland leaving, you got the Fangio was thinking about retiring. You played the other day. How's this 48 hours kind of been doing this and then hearing all the news that's going on back home?
Well, I just got here this morning.
Okay.
So I've been here, going to leave tonight, but I guess it's been pretty wild. I found out stuff probably this exact same way everybody else does, just on social media, but it's been crazy, a little crazy.
Obviously, we love Coach Stoutland and Coach Christian Parker, two great guys. Stout's been there for a while, obviously, just a great guy. And, Coach Christian Parker, happy for him going to Dallas and going to be the DC there. He deserves it. I have no doubt that he'll have success.
We know change is inevitable. It happens every offseason, right? Coop, you had a jersey from A.J. Brown at Locker Cleanout. We all are trying to interpret everything from outside, right? And everybody sees what looks like writing on the wall.
Yep.
Would you be more surprised, both of you, would you be more surprised if he stayed in Philadelphia or if he was traded?
I think I'd be more surprised if he left.
Yeah.
Everybody in our locker room loves him. He's a great guy, on and off the field. Me and Reed are really close with him. So I hope we can, I hope he can, stay around and, be with us.
Yeah. No, I enjoy him. I enjoy going up, talk to him, and just shooting the ish, you know, every day. So.
Now, Cooper, would you be more surprised if Reed Blankenship stayed or if he left?
He needs to stay, I think.
He needs to stay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think change in this league is inevitable, but keeping the continuity is something. How were you guys able to – you lost so many pieces of that defense last year, but you somehow picked up the pieces and had – a very high-level playing defense with a lot of new faces.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Nope. I'll go. But I felt like we had a lot of guys that were on the younger side last year, and we still do this year. But the guys that left, I mean, they left a great mark for these other guys. They were great leaders in their room, and obviously it showed. I mean, our D-line, they're one of the younger groups, but, I mean, they're playing out of their minds, towards the end of the year. And, our secondary, our linebacker group, I mean, everybody's considered pretty young. I mean, we're a young defense, and we're just hungry. I mean, we're hungry. We love to play for each other. I mean, we try to have fun. You try to have fun and make the most of it.
Definitely took us a couple of weeks, to get going, but as a defense. But I love playing with these guys. A lot of young guys on our defense who like to have fun and play for each other.
It's a lot of fun catching up with you guys in this kind of environment as opposed to locker room after games and all that. Help us, again, I love trying to pull back the curtain a little bit because you guys are obviously in there. Help us understand, what's Nick Sirianni like behind the scenes? What's it like? What does he do to get you guys ready for the game during the week that we don't see?
Right. He's just one of the guys, I think. He's a guy whose door is always open. You can go and talk to him whenever you want, even if it's not about football. And I love that, about him, and he's very passionate, as you guys can see. And stresses little things, all the details, turnovers, and takeaways is big in our meetings. But I love playing for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not scared to call people out, like during practice and stuff. Like the next day we're watching film, like he'll put up, the bad clips, the good clips, but I mean, he's a motivator. He's bringing positive energy into this, and like Coop said, he just hangs out, one of the guys.
Does he call you guys out a lot?
I mean,
if he has to.
If he has to, yeah, but he knows that he can because we we allow that. You know,
Love that. Yeah.
Couple. By the way, saw I'm on Ross St. Brown. He had this Kelly Green on. I said, "You look pretty good in that." He gave me the finger. Not quite that, no. But he was not having it. Saw a couple of the Rams guys wearing. I said, "Man, you guys all look good in Kelly Green, the wingman on the back." All right, couple of rapid fires. All right. Inside corner, outside corner. Don't care.
Don't care.
I gave you that out. All right, there you go. His face was like, "Ooh, what's the answer to this question here?"
I want to hear that.
All right, both of you guys. Now, I was talking to you earlier. Now, do you go down to Jersey Shore? We know you've been down there. You haven't been down?
Yet.
Oh, man, you got to get him down there. If you bring him down, he won't sign elsewhere.
I'll bring him down.
Look, I've seen videos, and I'm like, that's crazy.
My recruiting trip.
AC Margate or Sea Isle Avalon?
Ooh. I'm more of a Sea Isle Avalon guy. I think.
You hang out with Kelsey down there?
I have. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, he hosts his
he does, yeah.
Thing down there. So I've
He just
been to
joined the Hank Sauce team. Our buddies with Hank Sauce.
Really?
Kelsey bought into the Hank Sauce, yep.
Did not know
And
that.
you need the Hank Sauce. You need the bounty to clean your hands from the sauce on the wings.
Me and my wingman. Reed
Wrap it all
Blankenship.
up there. Yeah, there you go. You can't have football without wings, and you can't have wings without bounty. And we can't have Eagles football without Reed Blankenship, hopefully, next year.
There we go.
Yes. And Cooper DeJean. And, of course, you were hearing them live here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. We thank the guys. And we thank Bounty. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll be back with
Thanks
more
for
on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN, home of the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, there's my conversation with Scott Grayson and Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship. You heard it only on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN. And right now, joining us live with the Patriots, he was exclusive with Mike Vrabel, the head coach, earlier. Sal Paolantonio just got off SportsCenter and now on the Sports Bash. Sal Pal, it's a Sal Pal Friday. We wouldn't have it any other way.
The last Sal Pal Friday on the Sports Bash in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I love it. And we are live from the Patriots Hotel here in Santa Clara. And yeah, one-on-one with Mike Vrabel, the coach of the year for the National Football League. What a phenomenal job this guy has done year one, turning this franchise around back to championship status, and what job they've done with Drake May. And the one thing that he said to me, Michael, that was very important, I kind of asked him at the end of the conversation, which will run on Sunday NFL Countdown, the whole thing. The one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, I think, is the most important thing in this game. I said, Mike, is it a given that Drake May understands ball security is tantamount importance on Sunday, and that you don't have to coach him up going into the game? He said, oh, no, we're going to coach that right up until game time. We want him to be aggressive but not reckless with the football, and that will be a coaching point right until kickoff.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's interesting because Drake May had that shoulder situation earlier, and it looks like he is good to go. And you wonder how much that has affected him throughout these playoffs, and getting this week off, how much it helped him to be able to be a bigger factor in the game on Sunday.
Yeah, and you know what he said? As soon as he got off the plane and he saw how sunny and beautiful it was here, all of a sudden he got a lot better, a lot quicker. I mean, it's unbelievable. I know people are hurting. I know my family's got ridiculously frigid temperatures back there. But, man, oh, man, give me this every day, man. 70 degrees and sunny with a cloud in the sky. It's beautiful.
Well, by the way, Sal Paolantonio.
It's Jersey Shore weather. It's like June at the Jersey Shore here, brother.
It is. And by the way, I am sitting here in San Francisco. Sal, you are in Santa Clara, correct?
Yeah.
And sitting right in front of me, by the way, the architect of the matchup show, Mr. Greg Cosell, is sitting right in front of me here. Greg, you want to say hello to Sal? He just did a segment with us here, and we just had a lot of Eagle breakdown. We'd like to hear your insight on this stuff as well, because Sal, and there's Greg Cosell. He's saying hello.
Sal, what's happening, my man?
Hey, Greg Cosell, looking forward to the Super Bowl matchup show on ESPN2 tomorrow and Sunday. Greg Cosell, our quarterback guru, breaks it down, baby.
Greg has been with us the last 2 days, and Greg and I and our team, we've done a Football at 4 Eagles roundtable.
A lot of Eagles talk.
And Sal, yes, we want to get you Eagles roundtables discussion. We're waking up here on the West Coast. You're in Santa Clara. Greg and I are in San Francisco. We get up at the wee hours and we see Wayne Johnson. he could be retiring. Landon Dickerson thinking about it. Jeff Stoutland's out. Sal, you and I go to the West Coast and all hell broke loose.
Boy, I was shocked by the Landon Dickerson news. I think Lane Johnson retiring is a pretty obvious one. He wants to play, but you got to have somebody reliable at the right tackle. That either in free agency or the draft, they will try to probably go after some offensive linemen. And that's going to be a big job for Howie Roseman to figure out what they are going to do with this offensive line. When you don't have Stoutland and you don't have Lane Johnson, and Landon Dickerson is talking about retiring privately. I don't think he said it publicly yet, but if he is, that would be a very big deal for this football team. And you wonder why this is all happening, why Vic Fangio would all of a sudden say, hey, I want to retire, and they talk him back for one more year, talk him into coming back for one more year. So, there's undercurrents of issues with the football team that they have to figure out.
Sal, what do you make of the dramatic change in the offensive philosophy based on who they hired?
Well, Greg, this is something that you and I have discussed in the course of the season, and you have pointed out on the matchup show. Bottom line is that their passing game was, I think the word you used, rudimentary.
Right, rudimentary,
it was just so simple. Yeah, it was just so simple that, in the last play of the game, you had an all-four go. I mean, we used to run that back on Dover Parkway in Long Island when I was 12 years old. That offense has been around for a long time. It might work with you and your cousins on the football in the backyard, but it's not going to work in the NFL. They definitely need to challenge defenses, offensive, vertically and horizontally. They need defenses to be defending every blade of grass. And I think what you'll see from Sean Mannion, correct me if I'm wrong, is you'll see more of the concepts that come out of Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay. Yeah. And more play action pass, and Jalen Hurts is going to have to get used to being under center much more.
Yeah, I think part of this too is challenging Jalen because he's never played in this system, so he's going to have to really dig in and learn it from scratch.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, Greg. I don't know if he's going to want to do that, or is he going to be able to do that? I think
And will he have the offensive line in front of him to help him do that?
Yeah, I go back and forth on this with Jalen Hurts. He was the best player on the field in 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. And outplayed Mahomes in 2 of the last 3. So I look at it, I'm like, I'm wondering whether or not such a dramatic departure from what they did and expecting this guy to do it when he's never done it before is really going to work. It's really one of those things where you're putting a square peg into a round hole, maybe.
Well,
the other thing we don't know about is A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Is he A, coming back, and B, will he be happy?
Well, they must think in the building that it's going to work with Jalen, or I don't think they would have made this move because it's such a dramatic change with who they brought in as OC and the assistant offensive coaches.
They better be right.
I guess we'll find out.
And by the way, for Jalen, too, I mean, his contract goes through 2027. This could be the prove-it year. Hey, if you can't do it, we might have to think about going in another direction, right? I mean, is that
Possibly,
something that they're evaluating?
I would like to believe they don't think they're hiring Sean Mannion for 1 year, so you're probably right.
Sal, that when this happened last Friday, we didn't know much about what's going on. In the week now that has transpired, has there been more conversation about Mannion and his potential as a coordinator with 2 years of coaching experience?
Not really. I think it really is uncharted territory, the whole thing. I mean, he's a young coach with limited experience, hasn't called plays, a quarterback who's never run this system, an offensive line in flux, the top wide receiver in a state of, is he coming back? Are they trading him? Will he be happy? I got to tell you, this is an awful lot of change for a team that went to the playoffs and 2 years ago won the Super Bowl.
Of all the stories this week, you had the Fangio, you had the Stoutland, you got Landon Dickerson, you got Lane Johnson. We were here at Radio Row. We had Nakobe Dean on earlier today. He says he wants to come back. Don't know how that's going to happen. We had Reed Blankenship on right before you came on. He would like to come back. Sounds like Howie Roseman's got a lot of things to clean up with this roster and this team. As you said, who foresaw all of these questions coming?
And it comes back down to, failure. When you have failure like this, you got in such a dramatic way, you got to find out what is going to work. And listen, they turned the page on Andy Reid and Joe Banner when they had to. They turned the page on Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl. The one thing about Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie is they're not afraid to make the big call, to make the big decisions. That's the hallmark of what they have done. And as I've said on this show and many places before, Howie Roseman's a Hall of Fame executive, in my opinion. I'm on the committee, and I will bang the table for Howie Roseman going to 2 Super Bowls and winning them with 2 different head coaches and 2 different quarterbacks. It's only been done one other time, and that guy's in the Super Bowl, Ozzie Newsome. So, Howie Roseman knows what he's doing, and everybody saw the result. And this is what are you doing for us now, league? It's you got 10 coaches get fired. You had almost a third of the league get fired, and people are holding them accountable much more quickly than they did in the past. And the problem is, I've always said this to you, Mike, and Greg and I have had these conversations. When you are going to fire somebody or you're going to replace your quarterback, you better have an idea of what you're going to do to replace them before you make that decision.
Yes.
Because it puts you in a situation where it's very difficult to negotiate or find somebody. And, it doesn't really matter in what situation you are. If you show your hand first, that puts you behind the 8 ball in any kind of negotiation. And I just think be super careful here when you're thinking about head coach and quarterback. They're hard to find. They're easy to fire, but finding replacements is difficult.
It's a great point. You don't want to deal from a position of weakness when you have to make those decisions with those two people. I agree 100%, Sal.
And in our first interview of this whole week, Sal and Greg, we had Mike Mayock on who said, and he was a GM, and he said, you have to have lockstep between the coach and the GM. That's first.
Right.
Before coach and quarterback. Then you need to get the quarterback. But the coach and the GM need to be on the same page. And I guess that'll be the story of this offseason. It appears that they are they?
Yeah, well, I think that they are. I don't think there's any indication inside the building that there's any kind of friction between Roseman and Sirianni. What was really interesting to me, if you watch the NFL films Hard Knocks on the NFC East, how did it end? It ended with the Philadelphia Eagles. It ended with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni in the auditorium at NovaCare. And Jalen Hurts says to Nick Sirianni on camera, and you hear it, we will be back. And Nick Sirianni says, I have no doubt about that. So knowing that little vignette is out there, I think the Eagles have to figure out with Sirianni and Hurts to how to make it work. Because finding another starting quarterback and developing that quarterback, you see it all over the league. It's so hard to do. It's so difficult. They're just not walking around. And guys who have run this system and run it well, people don't give up on those players. They don't give up on those quarterbacks.
Well, Sal Pal, as always, it's a Sal Pal Friday in the books. It was nice to have Greg Cosell. While you guys are here, the matchup show is when for Super Bowl?
3 times this weekend. I don't know the times based on West Coast. We're here, but
yes, right.
But it's 3 times, and it's really good, by the way.
Well,
it's a great show. Greg Cosell carries the show every week with his great breakdowns at the quarterback position, and Darius Butler does a phenomenal job. Anchoring usually defensive side of the ball. But I got to tell you, The Super Bowl show is the best show that we did this year. You're not going to want to miss it. Get it on demand. Get it on ESPN Plus. It's on ESPN2. You'll be able to see. I mean, it's the longest running X's and O's football show in the history of American television for a reason, Mike, because you can't get what these guys do anywhere else on TV or online or anywhere. It's appointment viewing. It's the show that the coaches and the players watch. And I'm here at the Patriots Hotel, and coaches are always coming up to me and saying, "Hey, we love the matchup show." And I say to them, "What do you love about it?" And they say, "Well, Sal, we really like your suits and ties."
There you go.
Know how you get that.
Well, and in all seriousness, Sal, he pulls it all together because you can't do it without Sal. He pulls it all together and makes it so easy to do.
Well, by the way, an exclusive one-on-one with Sal Pal and Mike Vrabel. You'll see that before the Super Bowl
Coach of the Year
Sunday.
on Sunday NFL Countdown. Yeah, Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel. Here's the funny thing, Mike and Greg. So, as you know, I've covered all 11 of the Super Bowls of the Bob Kraft era. Twice I was with the Giants. Twice I was with the Eagles. So, 7 times I was with either Belichick or Parcells. And I couldn't even get those guys to wave at me with all 5 fingers. and now I got Mike Vrabel one-on-one. How about that?
Well, I had 2-on-1 here. We had Greg Cosell and Sal Paolantonio from the matchup show. And, of course, you can see Sal Pal's coverage of Super Bowl 60, his exclusive one-on-one with Mike Vrabel. Sal, Johnny G and the Griner team says hello. He's probably having some pancakes as we are out here in San Fran, but he says hello as well.
Tell Johnny G and the Griner team at Berger Realty in Ocean City, New Jersey, thank you for your support of this radio station all year long. And we'll talk to you next year. We'll talk to you draft time.
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah. Sal, you've told me 4 times this year was your last Friday, and you keep coming back. We just have too much fun.
All right, Michael. All right, Greg. Have a good one, man.
All right, thanks, Sal.
Good.
All right. By the way, that was Sal Paolantonio, and all our conversations on Radio Row brought to you by our great friends at Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop, Key Acura of Atlantic City, and the Nizam's Indian Restaurant. How cool was that? We get the listeners of Atlantic City today got treated to Barry Sanders, Cooper DeJean, Reed Blankenship, Nakobe Dean, and then the knowledge you got from Greg Cosell and Sal Pal on that phone call right there. I don't know there's a radio station in the country that gave you what we gave you today. And when we come back, it's the voice of Super Bowl 60. The great Kevin Harlan joins us right here on the set on 97.3 ESPN. All right, welcome back. Sports Bash Live, 97.3 ESPN, the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Super Bowl 60 is on 97.3 ESPN. Our coverage starts Sunday at 5 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. We're going to have Kevin Harlan, the voice of Super Bowl 60, on. He's actually talking with Greg Cosell. Greg Cosell has had a great time on our show today. He got to talk to Sal Paolantonio, and Barry Sanders was here earlier. Cooper DeJean was here. Reed Blankenship was here. Nakobe Dean was here. It's been a good show today, but we always look forward to our conversation with the voice of Super Bowl 60, Kevin Harlan at Radio Row. He's set to join us here in just a moment on the Sports Bash. You know what's funny? When Kevin sits down, Josh, what game was that? We were supposed to have Kevin Harlan on, and our phone system went out. Do you remember? It must have been a Monday night game late in the year. And
I think it was the Eagles-Chargers game.
I guess. And there was something that was happening at that time that we were going to have him on to talk about, and I can't remember what was happening right before that game and everything. But
well, I remember he was traveling for the NBA game he was doing. And then there was the timing issue because he couldn't – he had a very small window. It was a Thursday. You were at Chickies and Pete's, and he had a very, very small window because he had to go to an NBA production meeting right afterward.
Yeah. Well, he's going to sit down here in just a second here. Greg Cosell now has joined us.
Intercepted.
Greg Cosell, we had him on for football. There he is, Kevin Harlan.
Hey.
The voice of Super Bowl 60.
Where is the volume on this thing? Where can I turn up the volume?
All right, he's coming.
I did a game last night in Phoenix, and we
were watching some of that.
It goes numb. My ears go numb after a while. In fact, I'm losing hearing. And do you guys have any hearing
I
issues?
do. My right ear is terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's the worst.
Good.
Yeah, it's the worst. I got one good ear. I got one good eye.
So we were just talking.
But you got a great voice.
We were supposed to have you on for Eagles Chargers, and our whole phone system went out.
Yeah, what was that? I remember that.
Cheap phones.
Well,
they have all these internet phone lines now. And when the
know.
internet goes out somewhere,
Yes.
they all dropped. And that was the
Yes.
last time we were supposed to talk to you. We haven't been able to catch up. But
I know. It's
how's
good to be
everything
out
going?
now. Well, I'm kind of surprised the Eagles aren't here. I picked them. I thought that would be the team in the NFC.
Well, you're surprised they're not here. But now today and yesterday, Stoutland retires. Landon Dickerson might retire. Or Stoutland leaves. Landon Dickerson might retire.
Who retired? Oh, the offensive line coach.
He didn't retire. He left.
Yeah, right.
What
does that mean? On his own accord?
So he says.
Yeah.
But who knows?
He had a magical run, though. 2 Super Bowls. The guy was.
You've been doing this a long time.
He's as
how many
respected as
offensive
anybody.
line coaches can you name?
Howard Mudd.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Colts.
Yeah. There are a couple others that I can see their face. I can't think of them off the top
But Jeff
of my head.
Stoutland.
He's right up there, yeah. I mean, like he was what Jim Johnson was to the defense, right?
Correct.
He had that kind of national reputation and respected, and there's not a single head coach in pro football that wouldn't want them on their staffs. And, some guys, they're better off as coaches or coordinators and not as head coaches.
Absolutely.
Head coach, now you've got to be a CEO. You've got so many things. You're putting out this fire. You're trying to make that person happy. Just so much. And these coaches, I think, that say, you know what? I can make a lot of money as a big-time assistant like he did, and I can live a great life and not have all the extra headache of.
Well, how about Cliff Kingsbury?
Yeah.
He just went to the Rams. He figures, I don't have to call plays. I'll just sit here and get
Did
paid.
that happen today?
That happened today.
We've been flying. I didn't see that.
Kingsbury goes to the Rams today as the new offensive
coordinator because the other guy goes to the Cardinals to become the head coach. And I saw
Matt your old job. You can have my old job.
Yeah, I saw Matt LaFleur last night. He was there for Mike, his brother, who just took the Cardinal job. I saw him at the Suns game last night. And so we got a lot of brothers in the NFL.
It's crazy.
I know it, right? The Harbaughs, the LaFleurs.
Right.
And more to come, I'm sure.
Well, I'll tell you what. By the way, Kevin Harlan, Super Bowl 60. You can listen to it right here on 97.3 ESPN. How many is this for you on the radio now?
16 in a row and 17 overall.
I love it.
We did the first HD telecast of a Super Bowl back in 2001 for CBS.
Unbelievable.
Me and Moose Johnston.
And last night you were doing a game for Amazon?
Prime, yeah. That's where the world has come. From HD, now we got streaming, and I don't even know how any of this stuff works. So you just go in there. But, really there's no change when we did TNT. Just, same great professionals, same wonderful
Yeah, you wouldn't know what platform you were on.
No, I didn't. I know.
There, tell me what to say.
Just give me a can and some string, and let's wing it. Let's keep it going. But radio always endures.
It does.
Radio always, it's captivating. It's theater of the mind. Your words, the way you guys talk about sports and have your opinions gets people thinking. And I have always said that podcasts, I think, have helped kind of build the foundation of radio in its current form. Everyone now is used to listening to podcasts, and I think they now maybe have reignited a love affair with radio.
So you just mentioned, Kevin, the CEO coach. When you sit down and get a chance to ever talk to Nick Sirianni, he is a polarizing coach because he is the CEO coach.
Yep.
People will kind of wonder, well, what does he do? He doesn't call the plays. The Eagles' offense is not hitting expectations. What has your interactions been with Nick Sirianni?
Well, in the few games that we've done, and Mike Sirianni, and I worked with Ross Tucker for the final regular season game with the Eagles, and who did they play? They played the Commanders. Thank you. And we did that game, and we did a Zoom. We didn't do them in person. I find them great. I got to be honest. And sometimes, you don't want to play your hand to everybody. You don't want to, but in that locker room, in those hallways, they know what he is. That's a great job. They got a terrific roster, and they're going to be defending champion until tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I got to be honest. I'm a fan of his. That's a difficult market. That Philadelphia market, they want it, and they want it now. So I get it.
You referenced, let's talk about last year. I remember we get to talk to you every year, which is fantastic. We talked to you before the game last year. That game as it went on, what were you thinking as you were calling that? Because the Chiefs haven't looked like that very much.
Yeah.
And the Eagles made them look kind of silly.
And they only rushed 4, so they never blitzed, right? There was never pressure. It was just the 4, and that was it. And so they dropped everybody back, and Mahomes had some offensive line. Excuse me, I got a cold that is kicking my behind. Mahomes didn't have the time to throw because the line could not hold back those 4 guys. And when he looked, there were 7 guys back there in coverage, and everyone was covered. So, and they didn't have a lot of speed, and you could just feel it. And then when Cooper makes the pick, that was the coup de grace, and just. They were the better team, and it wasn't even close. Kansas City was lucky to get in last year. They were more like what they are this year than they were, but they somehow were able to navigate and get in, but the Eagles outclassed them in every way, and it was very obvious.
So here's my question regarding this Super Bowl. You got 2 teams that I don't know that Kevin Harlan or anybody else thought you would be calling these
60 to 1 odds when the season began.
Wow.
60 to 1. I'm not a bettor, but that sounds like monumental odds.
These are 2 long shots.
Yes.
Do either of these 2 teams feel like they have staying power?
Seattle does.
Yeah?
Yep. They got a young coach who's in his second year, who's won 24 regular season games in 2 years. The guy's he is the new Sean McVay on the other side of the ball defensively. They got the best general manager in pro football. Howie's up there. Howie's up there. Listen, I have great respect. That guy, look what he's done. I mean, they got a juggernaut, and it's not going anyplace. But John Schneider in Seattle is. I mean, they're about 4 or 5 guys in the league, right? The guy in Green Bay, the guy in Kansas City, Howie, and the guy in Seattle. Those are the top 4 guys.
I know you got to get
so they
going.
got that. The team is going to get sold, though. And I think that's the only fly.
That's right.
Yeah. And they've got a quarterback now who has been through the muck. He's come out better for it, and he's only 28. So they got the quarterback, they got the coach, and they got the GM. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You got to have that.
Well, before we let you roll, the great Barry Sanders was sitting in that seat.
Was he really?
Earlier today.
Wow.
Now, you know why he came over here?
Why?
He was over here earlier and had an interview and left his jacket here. And I picked it up. And his people came over and said, hey, we lost a jacket. And I said, oh, yeah, I have. They said, it's Barry Sanders' jacket. I said, Barry Sanders' jacket?
Yeah.
I said, okay, here. I said, it's going to cost you $500.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, what about a card and an autograph? I said, how about Barry Sanders?
Yeah.
And he came over. So
No
have you ever
kidding.
called a Barry
No.
Sanders run? Because I would love to
Oh,
hear
yeah.
a Kevin
Yeah.
Harlan run.
Well,
a call of a Barry Sanders. He's on the left side. He's reversing
He
field.
cuts left. He cuts right. Oh, he dodges another defense. Look at him spin by that one. You know, like you could you pray for plays like that. Remember Marshawn Lynch against New Orleans
Yes.
in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Broke 7 tackles.
Yeah.
Like you would crawl to call a play like that because it was slow enough where the words could come out. The problem with Sanders was he was so quick twitch. You know, you probably couldn't capture with any kind of word you use just how magnificent the run was.
Well, I know you got to go. It's great to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for always having me
Kevin
on.
Harlan.
Thank you,
And
Kevin.
thank you for taking the games. We're glad to have you as an affiliate. Big time market, and we thank you so much.
The voice of Super Bowl 60. He's Kevin Harlan.
I'm leaving. Can I leave my jacket?
It's a George Costanza move. You leave it because you want to come back.
That's exactly right. All right. I love that.
I know
Thanks,
you're going
guys.
to. You're heading to Boston.
Is that where we're going
You're
next?
shipping up to Boston.
Ugh.
All right. Take care.
Ugh.
Well, that's the Super Bowl market this year. We're the lowly, wild card team.
Not in my book. You're
There
not.
you go.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care, Kevin.
Thank you.
Kevin
Thank you.
Harlan, everybody. Maybe we'll get him on a big Sixer game this year, too, for Amazon Prime. All right, Sports Pass Live, 97.3 ESPN. I don't know. We got one more segment left. I don't even know how much time's left in the day. I don't even know if I'm going to get on the flight. Billy's supposed to tell me how many seats are left on that plane for me. All right, we'll wrap up the show from Radio Row. Coming up next.
What a week.
Sports Pass. Yes, crazy. All right, well, that'll about do it for us out here. We are going to have one last segment, the Nuggets segment.
Nuggets gets on?
I told you before the show today we're going to do
True.
Nuggets. You were supposed to have the Nuggets right.
I have nothing. I got no Nuggets. I'm out of Nuggets.
Well, why don't you tell everybody a little behind-the-scenes Nuggets about how all these guests kind of came about? We had Barry Sanders today. That happened because he left his jacket
He
here,
did.
kind of.
Yes, so we were moving a little bit. We were moving some things around at our table, and there was a jacket on one of the chairs. I'm like, whose jacket is this? I'm like, Mike, is this yours, Scott? Anybody?
You saw the size of that jacket. You knew it wasn't mine.
I was like, well, I was just asking the crowd, and I was like, I don't know whose jacket it is. And then you reached out and figured it out.
The funny part is I didn't know whose it was, and I have a picture of Barry Sanders, and he's wearing the jacket. And,
Right.
I didn't notice until after the fact.
That is
He
funny.
has the actual jacket on. Did you see that?
Yes, he has the jacket on.
He has the jacket
picture
on in the picture.
You posted, which was outstanding.
So the people came back over and were looking for the jacket.
Yes.
I said, oh, yeah, we have the jacket. And that's pretty much the basis of how we ended up getting Barry Sanders on the show today.
Well, I think we got to hear about. He's got to tell everybody about how we nailed down Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship too, because that took Nick all day.
Yeah, because somebody posted in the YouTube channel that we didn't have video on the live stream today.
Yes.
That's because we had to record that after our show yesterday.
Yes, so I was working on that all day with the Bounty people, and they were changing times, taking them all over Radio Row, and they ended up saying, hey, do you want to do it in the Bounty kind of booth that's in Radio Row and kind of the front part?
It was pretty much
of
our
it.
only choice, right? I mean, there was
Yeah.
no.
So what we did is we took the entire setup we have and moved it all the way over to Bounty and stood at the steps because it was upstairs and we had to set the whole thing up. It ended up working out, so we couldn't do it live yesterday, so we had to pre-record for today. But
and
it
we
was
couldn't bring all the
fantastic.
computers with the cameras
No,
too.
wouldn't have worked.
Right. So one of the things is they tell us, hey, we have a window between 1 and 2, which is 3 and 4 when we are. Well, 1 o'clock came and went. 1:15 came and went. 1:20 came and went. 1:30 came and went. 1:45 came and went. They didn't come over.
No.
So I said to Nick, listen, every time you see them walking by, you got to go up to the handler and say, don't forget us, because they will forget you.
Yes, and there was like a bunch of different people with Bounty that I was dealing with. So
Yeah,
one
they
didn't tell
had
the
about
other.
8 different people.
One didn't tell the other, and then we ended up getting them. We worked it out, and we got Cooper.
And you heard that at 5 o'clock. Then Nakobe Dean was another one.
You were chasing that down a lot today too.
Yes, I was working with his agent. It was absolutely fantastic working with me. And we were able to get Nakobe on.
Right.
And it was fantastic.
Diana Rossini.
She big-timed me earlier in the week, but not today. Not today. Today was not going to happen.
Oh, she ended up saying while she was here.
I was going to say, not only did she come over, as we had the conversation, she gave us her phone number and said, have me on any time.
Yes.
She enjoyed the conversation so much.
Absolutely.
So we had Diana Rossini on today, Barry Sanders on today, Cooper DeJean on today, Reed Blankenship, Sal Powell, Kevin Harlan, Nakobe Dean, Keyshawn Johnson.
Oh, yes.
Was also somebody who we were sitting here, and then all of a sudden we saw Keyshawn Johnson, and Nick said, hey, we're right here. Can you come sit down? He's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how
That's
that
how
happened.
it goes.
I'm trying to remember who was on. I can't even remember who was on yesterday.
I know.
You're supposed to be the one that remembers that stuff.
You didn't tell me that ahead of time. Yeah, boy, who did we talk to yesterday?
I don't remember. I just know what the next guest was. Now I'm cooked.
Lindsay Rhodes, yes.
Lindsay Rhodes was somebody that we had on from last year who they reached back out and said she enjoyed it, and we
I was
enjoyed
busy
having her on.
running around after people, talking to Jordan Love, and we had Romeo Dobbs. Was that yesterday?
Romeo Dobbs, we actually recorded on Wednesday morning.
Yep.
Shield Kapati was on live yesterday.
I got him because I sat near him on the plane.
Nice.
Yeah, we saw him when we were getting on the plane.
Dan Graziano was on yesterday. Now, he was just happened to be walking through here.
Got Dan.
As we are at Friday now, Radio Row, people are starting to break down. It is starting to clear
Lot
out.
more room.
It is. Listen, we hope that everybody back there enjoys the 3 days.
Hey, I got to tell you, we were talking about it in the break. Everybody back there, I'm rubbing it in a little bit here, but boy, it's been about 65, 70 degrees out here.
Yes.
I left my jacket in the hotel because I haven't needed it out here, and it sounds like we're going to need it when we get home.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. I brought my hoodie with me to Radio Row today to get on the plane.
What I would ask is if you were back there listening And, we did have people texting in like, this is great. We never get to hear people like this. No, you don't get to hear Barry Sanders on the radio all that often, and some of the things that we did. We hope that you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoy the craziness of putting it all together for you. And we couldn't do it without Ernest & Sons Old Fashioned Butcher Shop. Mel has been a supporter of Radio Row since Minnesota when we went in Mall of America. Big Eagles fan, Mel. Rocco at Key Acura, and Dr. Roy and the team over at the Nizam's Indian Restaurant. Those three businesses get it. If you were a business and you had the opportunity to be a part of this 3 days and you passed on it, you missed out on 3 unbelievable days of radio and content. Josh Henning, thank you for producing it all. Nick, great job. Alex, great job. We'll talk to you next year.